Yes, a very good evening, everybody. Nice to have you company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Night one of week 8 of term 2 for 2024. And the entree takes us to Ontario, Canada, to the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park to round 8 of the Super 2 and Super 3 series. And a jam-packed grid as per usual. Very tight the time at the top tonight. Cars are already lining up on the grid over there. So let's just have a quick look at the circuit for you. It's a smidgen under, I believe I'm right in saying, the 4-kilometre mark. We'll have a look at that track map for you in just a moment. There we go. 3.91 kilometres. Geez, I'm on fire already tonight. Canada, the country. 34 degrees, the on-track temperature. 20 the ambient. 9:55 a.m. in the morning Canadian time. 16 kilometres an hour, the wind, 63% humidity. We know there'll be no rain until these guys get given the wet weather treatment by iRacing, the TLC there. Championship points, Greg Favell on top. 311 plays Jaden Green, 274. Stephen Varga, 239. 237 for Damien Canton, 219 for Jake Slade. Top 5 in Super 2. In Super 3, very quickly, it's Daniel Snedden on top by 41 points from Mark McNamara, who's got a 22-point buffer over Greg Spencer. Another 22 back to Tim Fuge, and 9 points from Fuge back to Liam Amos, making up the top 5. The grid, here we go. It's Damien Canton, Greg Favell, the front row, the two teammates. Jason Spriggs, Mark Gomez, the second row. Jake Slade, Stephen Varga, the third. Tim Nicol, Mark Horton, the fourth. Angus Lawford and Will McKee, the fifth. Have a look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Grid packed, stacked all the way around to the penultimate corner. Not just the last corner, the penultimate. Chapman and Vandermeer in the 6th row, Howe and Gilbert the 7th, Allen and Clifton the 8th, Griffith and Chapman in the 9th, Proctor and Snadden the 10th. The 11th row, Sam Stride, Aidan Schultz, 12th row, Chris Stark, Bevan Moyes, 13th row, Daniel Snedden and Joe Baldwin, 14th row, Dale Jeffries and Tim Fuge, and the 15th row, Aaron Bryan and Pete Matson. Trying to fly through them here as quickly as possible. 16th row, David Lawler, Greg Brooks. 17th row, McNamara and Newens. 18th row, Eduardo Zamora and Patrick Hurdle. 19th row, I'm not going to get to. Lights on, get ready to fire. Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Hold the breath, let's go. Fingers crossed that we get through the opening sequence and quarters completely. It will require some patience. Uh-oh, trouble at 1, and it stacks on. Trouble at 1, and there are cars going everywhere. We'll go back and have a look at that for you in just a moment, folks. There was a car buried sideways up against the inside concrete barrier on the run through turn 1, up against the pit wall, and that was the racing line, and it was stacks on from there. The field pretty well spread out as a result early in the piece. Didn't get to finish running through the grid there for you. We'll go back and have a look at who's who in the zoo in just a moment. We've already got David Lawler on the tow rope. We've already got Michael Ladder showing us a non-starter. We had 43 in the circle. We had 42 starters. Daniel Snedden appears to have already parked up for the night as well. So one retirement, one withdrawal, and one in the pits early in the piece. Have a look at Angus Lawford forcing the issue there. Uh-oh, trouble. Pirouetting. Good luck. Bang. More carnage. And the track's almost blocked at the final corner. Not sure. Have we got a race control tonight? They might want to get that trigger. Sorry? No. So therefore, all those people that are thinking completely and asking for a safety car for a get out of jail free card won't be getting any luck. Now, massive night of sport tonight. The Matildas are in action against China. We'll keep you updated with the score there. The French Open's on. Alex Diemel was on the second of the main boards there. Second up tonight, or third up tonight maybe even. So looking forward to that. That is Sean Vandermeulen and finding the wall. Have a look at the casualties already. Dale Jeffries, Shane Newens, Lorne McKee, Trent Allen, Bevan Moyes. Daniel Snedden has got back out on the circuit. Chris Stark and David Lawler all on pit road. Most of them getting out and getting away again. But Bevan Moyes, Chris Stark and David Lawler remain on pit road at the moment. That is Greg Favell trailing his teammate in the early stages here. Josh Zuno critical of the driving standards early in the race. Damien Cairns led away from Greg Bell. This is what happened. This was, trucker had nowhere to go. And it was stacks on at turn 1. I mean, in the greater scheme of things, they've done relatively well there, haven't they? Really. 5 cars caught up in that and compromised. Everybody else taking evasive action successfully. And that was the initial contact. Adam Proctor on the inside, and then unfortunately left his teammate nowhere to go. That's Chris Stark, of course. And Joe Baldwin, an innocent bystander in all of that. Now, Jared Gilbert and Sean Vandermeulen coming to pit lane this time by. I reckon it's the survival of the fittest Type 9 here at the Motorsport Canadian Tire Motorsport Park circuit. That's what happened to David Waller. On the tow rope he goes. And that was early in the piece as well. Just quickly, when we remind you all of what's going on here, Adam Burhop asking the obvious question. That was Warren McKee getting caught up. So it was McKee making their move, and then unfortunately the second car involved in that incident came onto the racetrack, collecting the 2 cars that you saw at the top of your screen. So this is the ride with Sean Vandermeulen. Bang. Spare room that he had, or he thought he had, swept that from under him and virtually non-existent. So there's already been a fair rate of attrition here. There's already been a few cars caught up in trouble. This is one of those sorts of nights on this track where if you can buy a little bit of luck and stay out of trouble, you may reap the reward. I mean, have a look. Wayne Visser already up 11 spots, up to 31st. Colin Bennett already up 13 spots to 27th. Kurt Nomenson up to 26th position from 41st on the grid. Liam Amos up 12. Eduardo Zamora up 11. Patrick Hernal up 13 spots to 23rd. Chris Tomlin up 17 spots to 22nd. Craig Mason up 20 spots to 18th. Mark McNamara up 14 spots to 19th. 15 spots gained so far for Greg Brooks, and 13 for Aaron Ryan. 10 for Sam Stride and 11th outright. Funnily, Wayne Visser, unlucky. Viz had been having a good run. I put them off. Sam Stride up 10 spots. The biggest of the movers within the top half dozen, or dozen I should say, out there at the moment. No movement with the exception of Gomez up 1, Springs down 1 in the top 7. Everybody else remains where they started, but beyond that, good luck. Dane Snadden somehow remains 0 positions gained and 20th outright with all the carnage that's happened in and around him. And we've already got Mark Horton back on the pit road and we'll get back out again. Chris Stark, Bevan Moyes remain there. Daniel Snedden and David Lawler are all a lap down early in the piece, a lap and a half in some cases. Cairns, Favell, Gomez, Spriggs, Varga, Slade, Nicol, Howe, Chapman and Clifton the top 10. How did Kurt get to outright P11? Well, unfortunately, he's not outright P11 anymore. But yes, hopefully the replays of all the incidents and all the attrition we've seen so far answer that question as to why the leaderboard is as lopsided as it has been. Kurt Chapman, I think he might have actually been talking about.
Oh, Chapman.
Not Kurt Nomenson.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologise.
No, he said Kurt with a C.
Yeah, that's Kurt with a C, which is Nomenson, who is down in 25th position. We want Kurt with a K, who's down in 9th. Up 9 spots on where he started Project 36. And from 18th on the grid, Adam. Good evening to you.
Yeah, just had a quick look. Nomenson has only passed people. No one's passed him yet, so he's only moved up. So I don't think he's currently around 8th or 9th in class. So maybe it was an in-class thing, not a in-class stat. Might have popped up rather than an overall stat.
Copy. Thank you. Hopefully that answers the question. Ryan Howe up 5 spots. We've got Craig Mason on screen there at the moment, who's going along nicely. Up 19 spots already, and Sam Stride just minding his own business there in 11th. Let's have a look at the last corner where Eduardo Zamora caught the curb, flouts the concrete. Everyone from 29th back has transited the lane at least once. the later you can leave that, the less likely you are of needing a stop at the end of the piece. Now, at 1:16.403, oh geez, that makes the maths difficult, doesn't it? Don't do that to me, Greg. I'm just going to have a think here about what we're going to see in terms of the amount of laps. We're already on lap 7 and we're at the 8-minute mark. Where the hell's that time gone? Thanks very much. So we're on lap 7. If we're looking at that 1:16 marker, if I bring it forward to 1:15, just for the sake of making things easier, that's 4 laps every 5 minutes, which would get you 20 laps, but that's not including a splash and dash. I'm still confident with 20, to the point where obviously we've got that minute 15, that buffer of a lap. We can go an extra lap if we get back to the line with about 2 seconds on the clock. So we could go as far as 26 minutes into the race. So I'm going to sit on 20 laps is where we're headed tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If we get to 19 though, don't hold it against me. Craig Mason down there in 18th position. So 19:20 is where I'm at. I'm leaning further to 20 if Greg Favell maintains his pace at the at the top end of the field. Hello to you, Josh. Good evening, mate. Thanks for tuning in and enjoying the coverage with us. Matilda's about to go away to China, of course. Whoa, have a look at that! Forcing the issue! Damien Cairns did somehow keep the 4 wheels on the racetrack and somehow saved what could have been a monumental moment. Ruth, what about the balls on streets? Have a crack there. A big lunge. Nearly brought the pair unstuck, of course, but credit where it's due for at least giving it a crack. 5th place is Gomez, all over the back of Varga, who's up 2 spots now. So Gomez and Slade have dropped down 1. And no, we've got no idea. The skill set of that Accelerate Sim Racing stable has to be appreciated. Greg Favell firstly going to the lead on Damien Cairns at the end of the back straight. Textbook 101, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park racecraft there. Executed beautifully. Now, the second thing is, how the hell did Cairns save this? Certain contact from Spriggs. Have a look at this. Sorry, it wasn't Spriggs. It was the car in front of Spriggs, which is flat traffic, is it?
That's Gomez.
Oh, it's Gomez. Yeah, so it was Gomez that made the lunge down the inside. And I've got no idea how Cairns brought that back. Supercar drift work, if you don't mind. So Gomez in all of that actually loses out, because if he was up there fighting with Cairns, he'd already gained his spot.
He was going for the second place. He's going for second place, and then that little moment put him out, and the other two just basically picked his pocket and put him on the outside next few corners.
Josh just highlighting why he's not out on the circuit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, David Lawler into the wall. That'll be him parked up and done. Christine Cairns tuning in from the Cairns stable, of course. No doubt breathing a sigh of relief after that one. So Cairns holds on to second now, but all of that garbage, all of that jostling and drift work has given Greg Favell a clear set of heels. 3.5 seconds to the good, and we're almost at the halfway mark of the race. Tim Nicol sitting there in 7th, chases Jake Slade. Angus Lawford comes to pit lane. 1 minute 16.7 last time around for Greg Favell, fastest up the race, 1 minute 16.403. And again, everyone from Brandon Griffiths back has transited the lane. Everyone from Shane Ewan's back is down a lap. Eduardo Zamora's parked up out of race. That's parked up out of the race. David Lawler may as well be, because it's 2 laps down. You're not going to call that back. Chris Stark's back on pit road once more. A lot to pick apart here as per usual. And the leader, actually, it's important to note, Jared Gilbert down in 28th spot. The leader of the Super 3 split right now highlighted in the blue there on your totem pole, of course, the blue with the white number, is Ryan Howe. So very nicely done, and now it's deciphered for you a lot more clearly and cleanly, ladies and gentlemen. That doesn't give you the outright positions, that gives you class positions here, remembering that you've got Super 2 and Super 3. Is that Joe? Joe Baldwin doing Joe Baldwin things. Somehow he kept it. He saved it from going all the way through the grass.
Almost every time we go in the Motorsports, he has a Barney with turn 2.
Yep, and he won that one because he managed to keep the back two wheels off the car. Had he got all four on the grass, he was gone. What a save that was. It's been a night of big wrecks and very big moves and very good saves. No doubt about that. Cairns, Gomez, Slade, Stride, Snadden, Brooks all on pit road. Gomez, Cairns, leave pit road. Cairns with the advantage. Favell, 4 seconds to the good on Jason Spriggs. Stephen Varga hassling him. Tim Nicol is there as well. Have a look at Tim Fuge. Hung out to dry at the end of the back straight. So these boys are fighting for 26th on the racetrack. Sean Vandermeulen just ahead of him. And Jared Gilbert behind. All these guys caught up in some early drama. Kurt Nomenson now comes to pit lane. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're, of course, going back to 60-minute mode on a Monday night for our GT3s. And we'll be competing up against... Geez, they like to flirt with the outside there at turn 2, don't they? We'll be competing up against night 1 of the Australian Swimming Championships, the Olympic Trial Swimming Championships. So that'll be fun. Next Monday night. And of course, a 60-minute race next week and a 90-minute race the week after. Remembering that this championship here in week 10 will have a 45-minute season finale, which means at the start of that final 90-minute race for GT3 bumps back to 8:45 Eastern. But tonight at 8:30, we're off the road at Atlanta for them. For Waste Options GT3, the final sprint round of the campaign. Sprint race first up, the opening 21-minute heat there, and then 37 minutes of GT3 Pro for the night on platform of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Joe Baldwin, got to the side of the Sharp EIT car. And he'll move across. Oh, geez, he was trying to do the right thing with Trucker, trying to move across to redress. The car behind him didn't know that and clattered him in the rear. Here's Colin Bennett in the Chickadee car. Not going to go by there, Colin. Oh no, he's actually lost a spot around the outside. Oh dear. Fair to say the attrition's high already at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Now, good mate Chris Stark is standing by. We'll have a chat to him in just a moment. He's currently muted. He's just joined us in central commentary. We'll get Starkey in a tick. No doubt frustrated with how that's all played out. And teammates involved in the same incident. Greg Favell on pit road, so too Jason Spriggs on lap 13. There goes Greg. Jason's left there. Damien Cairns comes through. We'll sweep around the outside of Spriggs and go to 4th. Just Aiden Schultz and Aaron Bryan yet to stop. Bryan off the road. Aaron Bryan is off the road. Down at turn 2. Bet your bottom dollar on it any day of the week. That early in the lap, it's always going to be that corner. Oh dear. Starkey, unlucky.
Yeah, shot the start. Adam got turned by someone, turned into me, and then my screen froze at the last corner. So I'm being annoyed with this computer, it's brand new.
It's funny, I've done this with my boss about computer monitor screens and other things earlier today, looking to spend some money with the end of financial year coming up on upgrading the setup, you could say. Yeah. It's frustrating, isn't it? New technology, when it doesn't work, you wonder why you wasted money.
I'm going to get my IT guy onto it, my son-in-law, get him around here and get it sorted.
That's it. Disappointing that Adam Proctor ended up in the wall, and that obviously was a knock-on effect. You had nowhere to go, and then Trucker ended up an innocent bystander in it as well.
Yeah, Schultz went around the outside of Proctor and turned him into the wall into me. I was trying to brake so I wouldn't hit him, and then Joe's got nowhere to go.
Oh,
so
off the road. Patrick Hurdle off the road. He'll try and get back on the racetrack. Should be able to on the grass. Sorry, Starkey, go on.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Joe had nowhere to go and it broke my rear suspension. I tried to lip it round, but it just spun it into the wall.
car of Sam Stride. They look remarkably similar.
Same liveries. I'm not sure. I don't think they're teammates though.
Copy.
Stride's in the Alpha team. He's in the LT team.
Copy. And thank you, Adam Labus. It was always going to be tricky around here. This tight little bull ring, Starkey, with the field that big.
Yeah, just going to be patient off the start. I mean, we're all going pretty well. Just one car keeps one car and it's all over. I just slammed on the floor and
Josh Zuno. How about that Nordschleifer 24-hour? Awesome cloud, nice shape, good form. Yeah, I'm really glad I didn't waste time checking in with that throughout the course of the weekend. What did they declare it at? 9 hours of racing out of a possible 24, just ridiculous. Now,
crash in the rain.
Oh, exactly.
It was 7.5 hours racing, 1.5 hours behind a safety car.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as far as your mob's concerned, Starkey, Sam Chapman out there at the moment, Wayne Vizzer out there as well, and they're the picks of the bunch right now.
Yeah, Sam got a really good qualifying lap, fastest ever went, so it's coming to him. Vizzer's doing okay, he managed to stay out of the trouble. It's unfortunate for Neil Proctor.
Indeed it was. 2 rounds to go in this championship mode. Of course, next week, round 9. Off to Motegi East.
I changed it, yeah. I changed it to full track Motegi with this many cars.
Full track?
Yeah,
Okay.
Motegi West would have been way too small for this many cars.
All right, so what are your thoughts on Motegi as a full circuit? I mean, because really the short circuit there does produce good racing as well.
Yeah, less numbers would be great, but with these big numbers, the full circuit's pretty good for those supercars. Lots of runoff in places, the downhill section if you're in a draft and that.
Here we go. Cairns displaces Schultz. There we go. Now, Schultz is the only one that hasn't stopped with the exception of Patrick Hurnell. At this point, we're at the end of lap 15. As Greg Favell comes across the line, and that's 5 minutes 18 seconds on the clock. So my numbers suggest that Greg Favell punches out the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 16.270, that he will come back to the line with about 12, maybe 11 seconds on the clock to get the white flag to get us to 20 laps. So there's your bingo card already sorted out, and the Zaculator on fire first up on a Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. And provided that you don't get a safety car, but without race control, obviously that issue goes to bed. In fact, Starkey, to be fair, that probably would have hurt a few people tonight, the fact that there wasn't a manual race control and that the safety car couldn't be deployed there because there was a lot to clean up in the early stages.
Yeah, I think a safety car would have wrecked it for everyone. We would have needed to stop if there was a safety car. Probably don't use it in the series. Just looking at what it is. Bad luck to some of the guys who got caught up. Bad luck to some of the guys that have had some prangs here tonight. But it's supposed to be racing.
Well, it's helped out right now because it's been a combination of truck he's gelled with and the early bingles with some of the guys to be a Super 3 car up in 7th place outright. He's having a good crack.
Yeah, there you go. There was a couple of Super 3s that qualified really well too, Adam, up the front, who may need to get promoted.
Promotions are finished for the season.
Yes, yes. Bad luck. However, that brings me to the next point. Since we've got you two in the same booth for once, obviously week 8, we've got 2 weeks to go. We'll be here grand final night, and then we've got a 2-week break after that. So it's only 5 weeks essentially before we're going to be back here reconvening for the start of the new season. 8th of July, I believe, is the date. Any initial thoughts on what it's going to look like from a Super 2, Super 3 standpoint, Starkey?
Depends if they drop the new gen cars. If they drop the new gen cars, we'll move on from these, and we talked about changing the night, but it's all about what iRacing drop for us.
Off the road again, was that, yep, Patrick Hurnell once more. Okay, so Hurnell's having a shocker, but he had company in the form of the Chickadee car there as well. Okay, so obviously you would have read the same memo as everybody else, Starkey, with regards to the new season. There was a hint that there was something brewing from Australia. I mean, whether you're a supercar fan or not, that obviously seems to be the speculation. But when are they going to put the? I'm hearing rumblings about the bend, or even 3 cars involved and Trucker caught up in that, and it was just a knock-on, innocent bystander effect sort of incident. That 1 went and 2 went in sympathy. Have a look at this onto the main straight. Yep, the first car went, the other 2 just dominoes. Bang. Parked up. But yeah, obviously the other discussions are whether it's the Bend or Sydney Motorsport Park. We should be due for a new track, sure.
I haven't seen any talk about the tracks. I've only seen the talk about the new gen cars, so I'm not sure.
But all will be revealed tomorrow night.
Yes.
And tomorrow night's the big season drop for iRacing, so we will know tomorrow what their plans are.
Now, okay, so with that, Adam, a question for you as we watch this race die down into the closing stages. Now, Greg Fidell's going to come to the line and get 2 to go, and Damien Cairns is second place. Jason Spriggs and Stephen Varga duking it out for third. Jake Slade is all over the back of Mark Gomez at the moment in the battle for 5th place. So they're the 3 battles that we're keeping an eye on here. We've got Sam Chapman coming back to pit lane. Not sure what that's all about. That's unfortunate for Chapo. And he's going to drop down the order as a result of that, and maybe even parked up into retirement, unfortunately for Chapo. This is Craig Mason's run coming undone, and he had a good run up until this point. Off the road, into the grass, parked up, thanks very much. I'm out of here. Some big winners and losers out of that tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll pick it all apart for you in just a few moments. So, Adam Lavis, the question for you once this race does wrap up, because as I say, we are about to get into the last lap, so we need to call this to the line, will be what that means for the GT3 series, considering that 2 new cars are going to be available in GT3 land from tomorrow night. In the meantime, Jake Slade runs 6th place at the moment, all over the back of Mark Gomez. So Gomez has found his way into 5th place. Both these guys down 1 on where they started. Big, important run under the back straight there. There was some hip and shoulder, most definitely. And now Gomez goes on the defensive. Slade's all over his back. To the outside, to the inside. Back in he goes. Now he goes, he commits to the outside. Can he get the job done at the end of the back straight? No. Gomez defends. And defends nicely. White flag in the air. One more time around. I got there with about 10 seconds on the clock. Everybody's going to have to get to 20 unless they're a lap down, in which case 19 is the critical number. Slade to the inside. Whoa! Commitment from Gomez around the outside to maintain 5th place. This is for 5th in class as well as 5th outright, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Varga all over the back of Jason Spriggs. They're chasing Damien Cairns, but I think Cairns will do enough to cover them off. Through we go. Greg Fidell's out and gone to the comfortable advantage of 5.2 seconds. Lap traffic's factoring into the equation here. That'll help Cairns, and certainly does so. Cairns will get second now. Now it's just a case of whether third will go to Varga or Spriggs. Varga will have a tremendous crack at this down at the end of the back straight, you would imagine. Have a look at Gomez and Slade as well. The final run to the checkered flag. And it's another victory for Greg Favell, and probably one hand on the championship as well. Favell victorious in Canada. Second to Cairns. Third will go to Spriggs on Varga. And Gomez should be able to hold off. And will hold off Jake Slade. Great racing. Brilliant stuff. Around the grounds quickly for you. Matilda's 0-all with China, 13.5 minutes played. Winner of Super 3 is Ryan Howe, and he did that beautifully. Ryan Howe in for the W in Super 3. And 7th outright, very respectable. 8th to Lawford, 9th to Chapman, and 10th to Clifton. Dryde, Griffiths, then Schultz, the second of the Super 3 contingent home. Snadden, Brooks, McNamara, the third of the Super 3 contingent home. And that takes us back to about 16th outright.
Proctor out of fuel.
Oh no, Proctor's run out. Proctor hasn't made it to the line. Proctor's run out of fuel. On the run to the line. Can you believe that? And he was one of the boys that stopped early on lap 4. As Brian was saying that he's been affected by a power outage tonight. That's why we didn't see him get home on the last lap. Oh, fair bit to pick apart and all of that. But yes, I had a question for you, Adam Lavis. It is, what is the club going to do with regards to the next 2 weeks? Rob Colbreth saying he's late to the party, but no, the party's just getting started because we've got the GT3s from Road Atlanta standing by. Oh, Greg fell into the wall. There we go. We've seen that celebration before. So obviously there's 2 rounds left. We expect a few people that, you know, their championship campaign's over. They're going to lobby and say, look, can we have a crack in the Mustang? Can we have a crack in the Corvette? What's the club going to do? Because this is the first time that I think we've had 2 manufacturers dropping at the start of the campaign from iRacing's end, and we haven't obviously ended our season yet.
Yeah, with only 2 weeks to go, we'll just run as is for now, and then we'll start fresh for the next season with all the cars to choose from.
Excellent. That's what we like to see. Who's who? A cavalcade of superstars dropping by the commentary box here, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this. Angus is in the house. Kurt Nomanson's here. Damien Cairns, Greg Favell, Kurt Chapman. Very nicely done. We'll get back to those gentlemen in just a moment. Daniel Snedden was late getting going because he dropped out at the start. Let's have a look at Kurt Nomanson, 4th outright in Super 3. Well done to Tiring Tales for highlighting that for us. We'll get to Kurt on that in just a moment. In the end, ladies and gentlemen, just having a look around at 20 laps, 15 was the 75% marker. Everyone down to Wayne Visser got there. Tim Fuge, Tim Nicol, Chris Stark, Pete Matson, and Eduardo Zamora, all retirements tonight. And if you're disconnected from the server before the server had actually concluded, ladies and gentlemen, even if you are past that 75% marker, you don't get classified as per rules set by the platforms of the GSRC. And that's, of course, at Adam Lavis's discretion, that sort of stuff. Let's have a look at some of the highlights here for you. And there was action aplenty from the start. That safety car didn't get deployed. It didn't get used. It probably needed to at some point because of what happened here at Turn 1. We saw Adam Proctor and Chris Stark get caught up in this, and so too Joe Baldwin. And it was just a knock-on effect from there. The 62 went pirouetting, and it was a parking lot for those 3 boys. And then from there, the field sorted itself out. The end of, I think it was the 2nd lap, we had more trouble. Oh, well, that just sums up locked up tonight. 2 in trouble at 1 and Chapo at 3. And then, of course, we had that garbage at the end of the 2nd lap as well on the run to the final corner. But at the end of the day, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Once again, Greg Favell and Damien Cairns have come home 1 and 2. And I'm going to start with you, Davo, because it would appear as though the fan club's actually tuning in tonight and watching you in action.
Yes. Good. Yeah, that was a good race. If I'm going to lose to anyone, it'd be good. It's good to just lose to Greg. He's pretty quick when the race gets going. But been qualifying really well and pinged him the last couple of times. So at least I've got that.
It was nothing short of hectic out there, mate. And I guess you were very lucky at the end there. You had both Jason Spriggs and Stephen Varga hassling you. But a little bit of lap traffic at just the right moment brought you a little bit of space, and that was all you needed.
Yeah, it got pretty hairy because I don't know whether, I think Joe said he had his blue flags behind some overlay, so he couldn't see it. And then I don't know who else it was there. They were putting themselves right in the middle of the track like they were trying to race me, and I'd seen them do it to the boys behind. So we got a little bit hairy there for a little bit, but just managed to get that little bit of a gap and could just hold that gap and run away with 2nd.
Yeah, indeed. And as you say, a pretty good night for the team because, I mean, I'm looking at this screen here. It says Accelerate Sim Racing 1, 2, 3 through Jason Spriggs, 9 through Mick Clifton. The only one that didn't get a real good run was Lorne McKee. He had a little bit of trouble, finished a lap down, but for the rest of the stable, in the top 10. You beauty.
Yeah, great result. I think it's our 2nd, but the last one was under a safety car. So I think it's our first time we've under full racing that we've got a 1, 2, 3. I think this season.
I
cool.
claim 1, 2, 3, 4 because we're sort of claimed Vargs. We've adopted him to our team.
You've adopted
Serious.
Vargs, have you?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
ours.
Righto. Well, I was going to say, behind them, Mark Gomez hasn't got a team name assigned to him on my timing sheet, so you might want to go recruit him as well. In saying that, since you're here, Greg, good evening to you. Welcome on in. Well done, mate. The way I'm looking at it at the moment, I can't see why that isn't one hand on the championship for you with 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, I was hoping for some bonus points, but again, this week, Damo took it at the last minute and qualified. I looked at the times after the first lap, went, I should be right now, so I didn't really push for the next one. And then finished qualified, I looked up and went, hang on, he got me. So, yeah, no, we'll just keep going. What have we got, 2 more races? So, I think it is. Big
2
one
more.
at the end.
Mount Panorama at the end, and of course next week we're off to Mategi. Now that's just been changed. Chris Stark reliably informs us mid-race that next week it won't be Mategi West, it'll be the full circuit, given the grid numbers we're seeing at the moment, which is exciting. And of course we're looking forward to seeing what iRacing dishes up with their patch update, their new season content drop tomorrow night as well, before we know whether we'll be in these cars or the new gen cars one way or the other. Next season's looking like a lot of fun. But next week in these cars, Mategi, in Japan, the venue, then on to Mount Panorama. So the last of the 25-minute races next week, and then 45 around Bathurst. Greg, you must have been really happy to be at the forefront of all of this, and look behind you and see the carnage happening, and you have a clear set of heels. The only issue then, of course, became lap traffic, which when you've got the advantage that you did, and you've got no one really putting any sort of tremendous pressure on you, it's just a case of going through the motions and navigating it as you have to.
That's right. You got a little bit of a gap. You just take your time. You don't put any extra pressure on the guys in front so they make a mistake and something happens. So I was happy to sit behind Damo, and then I was saying Gomes, I think it was closing in on us towards the end there, and I went, we might have to make a move soon and hopefully tow Damo away. But I think something happened. Not long
I made a
after that.
mistake going into the last turn or something, coming on the straight.
He lost the toe, and it's like he won the last championship, so I thought I'm not going to wait for him.
No, that's exactly. You want that number one back on your car, and that's fair. But actually, Damo makes a good point, mate. What exactly happened there? Because all of a sudden, so there's 2 things that we need to talk to you about here. Firstly, that mistake, because all of a sudden you're under serious pressure from the likes of Mark Gomez, Jason Spriggs and Stephen Varga. And then probably the save of the race as well, coming into this particular corner here at turn 2. That was a balls and all moment, wasn't it?
There was. I deserved that for that. That was, I managed to get away with it. I thought, geez, that I'm happy with that.
So talk to us about the back straight firstly, mate. What happened there?
Back straight, I think it was the first mistake I made was coming into the last turn onto the main straight, and I think I was in 4th and I was supposed to be in 3rd, and it just ran wide, and then that sort of brought all of us together, and we all sort of fought it out. And I think his first name Gomes, he must have been worse out of it because he ended up with Barbs at the end. But and then when he got into me, it was like thought of going out in the grass and spin for sure, but just managed to save it. And
a very lucky escape that was as well. But from there, everybody sort of cooled their jets and just went through the motions, mate, and you walk away with 2nd. What are your thoughts on the final 2 weeks and what you might be able to salvage here as far as the results concerned?
If I just continue on the way I've been going and getting on the podium and stuff, I'll be happy to finish out the season that way, and wherever the points end up, they end up. But I just want to finish well for the last 2 races and see how we go.
The great man Nick Fodiatis has just slid into the inbox and said hello, and great to have him tuning in. The reason you're not seeing Nick on your screen at the moment is because he's having some PC trouble of late. I was wondering why the phone wasn't ringing hot around this time, because normally he runs his Indy 125 birthday bash around the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway around this time of year, and never heard anything about it this year. And all of a sudden I get that message tonight saying that he's hoping to be back for the final week of the campaign in 2 weeks' time, and it's obviously PC trouble. It's a very hard thing to navigate your way around when you're trying to juggle budgets and work and other things as well. So hopefully we'll see Nick back on deck at some point. Hopefully we'll go IndyCar racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at some point on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, because I feel like we're overdue for a trip there. What about you, Greg? Obviously brought some luck tonight in the sense that you were ahead of everybody. You only had to focus on lap traffic, going through the motions, picking up the fastest lap of the race, taking the field to 20 laps by, I think, 10 seconds in the end was all you got to lap 20 by. But more than that, it's a race win. It's a championship defining one. And now you've got Motegi West to look forward to and Mount Panorama to hopefully get that one back from your teammate.
Yeah, I had to try and do all right tonight because I knew it was going to be hard with this sort of track. There's not many places to gain an advantage on the competition, and yeah, once I broke that toe, I just had to keep the head down and hope for the best. But looking forward to Motegi if it's a full track, running around there, and it should suit these cars well.
What are you guys hoping for tomorrow with regards to the content drop? Any wishes that iRacing haven't teased or confirmed yet?
No, I'll wait and see. I haven't really looked into it yet, so I've been busy lately, so yeah, we'll wait and see. I know one of our teammates is looking forward to the Mustang, the GT3 Mustang.
Yep.
Forward,
Yep.
and if
That's
he's
going to
looking
be
for
good
that,
fun.
I'll be looking forward to the Chevy, so.
Does that mean we're going to see you come and race GT3 with us on a Monday night, potentially?
I wish I had time. If I could commit to something, I like to commit and follow through. I don't want to be just turned up for a race here and there. Like
That's
the SRXs, I really want to commit to the SRXs at the start of the season, but
There was that moment just on replay too, folks. Jeez, what a moment that was. And Jason Spriggs ended up being the beneficiary of that, as we saw. Sorry, Greg, continue on.
yeah, I was just saying I really wanted to do the whole season of SRX this season, but it just didn't happen. I think I've only done 2 or 3 races, so just finding time these days.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, I'm hearing you. Gentlemen, congratulations. We've got about 18 minutes till GT3 are on the grid and a few drivers to have a chat to just yet. So we'll let you go. Well done on the 1-2 tonight, and good luck for the final 2 weeks of the campaign.
Thanks, fellas, and thanks for the
Thanks very
broadcast.
much.
Magnificent performance from in amongst all the garbage around them and all the carnage that we saw and the attrition throughout the course of the race, those two still prevail at the top step of the summit. Sometimes you just really need to have Lady Luck on your side. Let's step lively now to the man that finished second, actually, in Super 3. Hello, Aidan Schultz. Nice to have you on board. If we can unmute the microphone, there we go. Mates, talk me through that, because as I've already heard from Chris Stark, unfortunately you were involved in the incident at turn 1, lap 1.
Yeah, not sure what happened there, mate. I think it was pretty crazy the whole way through, so I think he might have tagged the inside of me, not sure whether I gave room, and he was facing the wrong way, so bit of a racing deal, I think. I don't know. No race control stuff come across, so not sure what happened.
There was no
there.
race control, Schultz, just quietly.
Yeah, right. So I don't know what happened. Nothing intentional, of course. Yeah, don't know. I really can't comment because I don't know.
Yep. In saying that, mates, happy with your run. I mean, when you look at it, just outside the top 10, I think it was 13th outright, but more importantly, second in Super 3.
Yeah, it was a good night, mate. It was tough, very close between everyone. It was unfortunate for Aaron Bryan there at the end to have that packet loss, because he would have got second. But I don't know, mate. You know how I operate. I just go around and try and circulate and get the points. And tonight we were quicker after last week, having an absolute shocker. So yeah, it was good to come back tonight and just have a nice solid race and run around. But yeah, I feel bad about that Starkey thing, so I'm not sure. I didn't even think that was an incident. I thought something happened on the inside of me, so unsure. But yeah, apologies if something did look like that on the broadcast.
Stay with me, because one of the other innocent bystanders in all of that actually drove into it and had nowhere to go was Joe Baldwin. He joins us right now. Hello, Trucker.
Good evening, guys. How are we?
Very well. Talk me through that from your perspective, please.
Just looked like was Starkey's teammate was on Aiden's right, and Aiden's just swept through turn 1 when it was sort of 3 wide and probably just not left enough room, and he's just bumped the Formula V. God, what's his name? Yeah, just bumped his left front.
Adam Proctor. Yeah.
Adam Proctor. Yeah. Sorry, Adam.
There it is. Oh.
Yeah, just bumped his left front, and that's turned Adam, and yeah, just the way it went. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's just I can't make a call, and I was racing, not driving, so I haven't really looked at it, to be honest. I just got caught in the middle of it, and that sort of set the tone for myself for the rest of the night, really.
We just saw the replay on our screen here, actually, Trucker, and yeah, 3 into 1. It's a case of I don't think there was room for 3 into 1, but it looked as though Adam Proctor, being piggy in the middle, unfortunately was just a little bit too deep, and that was the knock-on effect there. And poor old Schultz had a little bit of front to rear contact on Adam's behalf, and that's what's unsettled Adam. I think that's the way I've at least looked at it that second time round, and remembering that at the start there was that much going on that I hadn't had another proper look at that either until just now as well. From your own standpoint, Trucker, to get back...
It was a shocker, to be honest.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's 2 things here, Trucker. One, that was only one of 2 3-car incidents that you were caught up in, and the second was yet again
both of them.
That you're an innocent bystander and you had nowhere to go. But the third one is, Adam Lavis reminded me just before we got going that you have a love-hate relationship with turn 2, the downhill sweeping left-hander.
I do.
And it nearly got you again, but you somehow managed to pull it up and save it. Well done.
I did, thank you. Yeah, it's that turn 2 at this place. I wish they put a wall on the outside of it. It'd save a whole lot of grief. Normally I make the fence, but no, actually I had I was racing Dale Jeffries and up the double right-hander onto the back straight. It was ever so slight. He was good through the first portion, but he'd sort of prop up to try and get the run off, and it caught me out when I was racing close with him, and I only just touched him, and it sort of spun him 90 degrees, but I did the gentlemanly thing, and I waited and I redressed it with him, and then we got back on. I got by him, but I brought a couple of other guys I hadn't raced against before, and them boys, they race hard, some of them new guys. So hard but clean. But yeah, that 3-car pile-up coming onto the front straight was, I think the guy, Mason, was it? I think he just grabbed a bit too much curb on the inside and got sideways, and the poor piggy in the middle that was between us, he had nowhere to go and I had nowhere to go, and it was a bit of deja vu, just one corner earlier, really, that was all. But I did a little bit of practice, not a lot, but I found pace in the race, so I'm probably happy I found a little bit of pace in the end, but just no luck.
24th outright in the end for you, Trucker, and you drove into a blind spot, essentially. You drove blind into that second incident, but anyway, thoughts from you and Schultze before I let you both go, because we've got a few more guys to get to here on Mategi, because that's the next stop, and are either of you having a run in GT3 as well, I must ask. Start with you, Schultze.
Yeah, mate, I'll be in GT3 starting from the back. Haven't chucked a lap yet, so I'll be there having some fun in regards to the supercars. I'll be out there for the next couple of weeks, just going around doing what I do and enjoying the GSRC platforms, which is the best place to race in iRacing, in my opinion. So yeah, just there having some fun. Hopefully we can get another couple of good results. If not, we'll be having fun doing it. So and we'll go back and watch it. But thanks guys for putting it on, and yeah, I'll be there in GT3 and see how we go.
Drop back in after GT3 if time permits, Schultze. I've got a couple more questions I'd like to ask you, and it's in relation to the content update and obviously the GT3 component of that. Thank you, mate. Good luck in GT3. I'll let you go and focus on that.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys, and thanks for putting it on, and I'll talk to you afterwards.
He's been around these platforms long enough now that he doesn't need to butter us up the way that he does, but it's always appreciated.
He
Trucker,
does love running with us. He's a good guy.
Your initial thoughts on obviously Motegi next week and what's on for the rest of the night, please.
Motegi is a fantastic venue in these cars. It just really seems to suit the way they drive. I think we ran there a couple of seasons ago, and it was probably the race of the season, you know, for broadcast and from the driver's seat. So I'm really looking forward to next week. Hopefully, obviously we've got a public holiday in WA today. That's the only reason why I'm here racing. I've got a late start tomorrow. That's why I'm doing GT3. So racing on Monday nights, it's a bit of an anomaly for me now. My work hours have changed a little bit. It's a bit of a struggle, but no, I'm definitely looking forward to Motegi next week for sure.
Excellent, and obviously we knowing that you're going to run GT3 as well, we'll get a chance to chat with you after the fact as well, Joe. So looking forward to that, mate. Get out of here, go and enjoy GT3. As you say, a rare opportunity to do it. Of course, you get the public holiday around this time of year. Queensland waits for it until October, and everybody else in progressive and civilised parts of the country observes it next week, when everybody really should, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, enjoy it, mate.
Would make life easier, mate. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, it would. It'd just be common sense, but as we know, common sense isn't all that common.
No, it's not
these
that common,
days.
is it?
No.
Thanks, mate.
All right, thanks, mate. Very much appreciated. Kurt Chapman is in here as well. Top 8 for you in Super 2. Kurt Nomanson, 4th outright in Super 3. Well done, mate. And Angus is here as well, Angus Lawford. 8th home, 7th in class. Let's start with you, mate. Quickly get your thoughts on that chaos.
Oh, that was a bit of an interesting race. We had some good race pace, unfortunately, and yeah, just got stuck in the middle of a XSR sandwich in the first lap, and unfortunately, turn 2, I had a really good run and just got sort of bumped and run off the track, and that put me into a battle with the second of the XSR boys that were in the middle of the pack, and unfortunately, it ended with me being turned by one at the second last corner, so on the back foot, but we did have some pretty decent race pace towards the end. It would have been interesting if we had stayed out of trouble the first lap, but all in all, to keep it in the top 10 after having a bit of a spin in the first lap is pretty good.
Indeed it is, mate, and when we look at the attrition around you and everything that unfolded in that 25 minutes, it was a bit of a blur from here in the central commentary position. But I mean, as you say, you got to buy some luck in these instances. But for you and Kurt, for Project 36, and Brendan Griffiths in 11th, the three of you to get home relatively cleanly, that's a good night out for the stable.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It was good to see quite a few of us on pace, and yeah, you do have to have some luck with this, and even without the luck, I'm sure we all would have been fighting pretty hard to try and push as far up as we could. But yeah, happy with getting us all around the same pace, and the tunes seem to be working quite well for all of us.
Not an easy track to master, but obviously with the amount of cars out there, that added to the challenge. We know how many came unstuck. We know that overtaking around here is not the easiest either, but at least there are opportunities. What are your thoughts on the next 2 weeks, mate? Motegi, the full circuit now, it's been confirmed, not West, the full circuit, and of course Mount Panorama.
I'm very keen. Motegi, I've seen quite a few GT3 races there, and it excites me a bit to thump around in these heavy old girls and give it a whirl. But I'm ultimately more excited for Bathurst. I'm a bit of a Bathurst fanatic, so it'd be good to get around the track, get a tune down for it, and see if we can try and put it on the top step at that track.
You and just about everybody else is a fan of Mount Panorama. There's no doubt about that. We're looking forward to 45 minutes around there. What about tomorrow night? iRacing, there's some murmurs that the new gen supercars are going to be phased in. What are your thoughts on that if that does come to fruition?
I'm very keen on that. Be happy to run some of the newer Gen 3, so it should be good.
Well, very nicely done. And let's bring in your teammate, Kurt Chapman, on that note. Hey, Kurt, thanks for sticking around and having a chat to us, mate. Well done. Got to follow the teammate home, but he had a little bit of a breathing space over you. In saying that, a good effort from you to move up 8 spots from 17th on the grid up into 9th outright, 8th in class. and to bring it home in one piece and get 2 cars in the top 10.
Yeah, it was definitely a good race for the 3 of us Super 2 drivers. I heard there was a little bit of kerfuffle with the Super 3 guys, but yeah, the 3 of us, we seemed to keep on pace for the majority of it. Unfortunately, 2 of us got into incidents in the opening laps. Yeah, that's basically a summary.
Yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts on Motorsport as a circuit? I mean, I haven't asked anybody this tonight. Do you like the track?
I'm not too much of a fan of it, to be honest. I don't really like big sweepers.
Okay.
Especially if these cars, like, you can either have them too soft or too hard for them, and then every other corner it's the opposite.
Matilda's just missing a nice chance to go 1-0 up, ladies and gentlemen. So still 0-all there, China and Australia. 40 minutes gone. I am listening to what you're saying, Kurt. Don't worry about that. I've just got one eye right a screen on the Tilly against China tonight. We're about to go to GT3, so let me wrap this up very quickly with you two blokes. Kurt, firstly, Chapman, we'll get to Nomenson in just a moment. What are your thoughts on Motegi next, and obviously the new gen cars if they come in tomorrow night?
Well, I'm going to be honest, I haven't done a lap around Motegi. I haven't even watched videos about Motegi. I've got no idea what I'm getting myself into in the next couple of days. Bathurst should be a fun one. I know a lot of people will be really fast, and a lot of people have done a fair few laps around it. And as for the GT3s and new updates, I'm keen for the Mustang GT3, but not really concerned about anything else coming in.
Okay, so does that mean we'll see you on the GT3 grid next season in the Mustang?
Possibly. I gave it a crack this season. I only done 3 races, but yeah, we'll see how we go with my spare time and stuff.
That's going to be one of the great fascinating aspects of next season for mine, Adam Lavis. Just seeing the Mustang come in, the Corvette as well, and just seeing how many people that brings to the table. Because those 2 cars just seem to be up everybody's alley. There's so many people excited about them, and we know the novelty, especially the wet weather novelty. That's been one facet of this season that we've all got our head around. It's brought people into the stable. I reckon the GT3s will benefit from the upgrades that are coming their way as well. Hey, Kurt, Angus, thank you, boys.
Thank you.
No worries, mate. Thanks to our sponsors as well, and thanks to you in the broadcast booth as well.
Greatly appreciated. Kurt Nomenson, well done. 4th in Super 3, mate. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I think I could have maybe got a top 3 if I had have been a bit more consistent with my pace, but you know, what do you do about that? That's just laps. But I'm happy with a P4. Very consistent drive, I think, tonight, and that was the main thing I was going for, was consistent drive.
And consistency wins championships, mate. And I guess more importantly, how lucky you were. We know the sort of luck you have in other cars, but you avoided, for the most part, all the carnage tonight.
Yeah, I think I made one mistake at the end, which was my own undoing. So I can't be too upset about that. Didn't even really lose a position in Super 3. It was only a position or 2 to the Super 2 guys. So P21 overall and a top 4 result. I'm very happy with my night.
All right, and very quickly, because we've got GT3s in just a tick. What are your thoughts on Motegi next week? And now that we're going to run the full circuit, does that suit you, or would you have liked to have stayed on the shorter track?
No, I think the longer track will probably suit me better. I like longer tracks, gives me more time to recover if I make a mistake than the short tracks do.
All right, very nicely done. I'm not sure what the hell's going on here at Stadium Australia, just quietly, ladies and gentlemen, but there seems to be, I think they're actually, can you believe it, the Matildas are substituting the goalkeeper before half-time. So there you go. Change of captain's armbands and everything else. The Matildas are changing goalkeeper before half-time. There you go. Mackenzie Arnold's about to come on by the looks of that. Kurt, what's on for the rest of the week, please? How are you feeling about GT3?
I'm feeling pretty good. Sitting about middle of the pack in GT3 after qualifying, and drove probably my best lap in a long while, so I'm excited. Hopefully I can move up again like I did tonight in the Super 3, yeah. So, and then I think it will mostly be a production car and GT4 if I can make it home in time on Wednesday night.
Big field, in excess of 30 on the grid there for GT3M, which we'll get to in just a moment. And then on to GT3 Pro for their feature race tonight. Hey, Kurt, thanks for stopping on by, mate. We might chat to you at the end of GT3, yeah?
Yeah, probably.
Right, just confirming that it's still 0-0 at Stadium Australia. It's Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. There's soccer to keep an eye on. There's tennis. There's motorsport. It's a great night in the booth, no doubt about that. And it's a great week because we've got State of Origin Wednesday night. We've got no GSRC broadcast Wednesday night. We'll be back Thursday night, but there's Women's State of Origin on Thursday night as well to contend with. So a lot to like about this first week of June, this first week of winter, except the chill factor kicking in some parts where it hasn't already. We're off to Brusselston, Georgia in the United States, to Hall County, to Road Atlanta, and to round 8 of Waste Options GT3. We're going to start with the AM split, ladies and gentlemen. 4.06 kilometres this course. 46 degrees 56 degrees the track temp. Jesus, 31 the ambient. 15:30 in the afternoon, so 3:30 p.m. Eastern time there in Georgia. On June 2, 2024, 21% humidity, clear conditions, which bodes well for the afternoon ahead. And we're ready to rock and roll here. 5 km/h winds as well, which won't do much, just quietly. James Francona on top of the championship at the moment, 20 points to Eduardo Zamora. What I like about this is you've got plenty of different manufacturers in the top 10 there, ladies and gentlemen. 11th, Warren Ibert in the Audi. You got Ferrari, you got Porsche, you got BMW, you got McLaren, you got Mercedes. It's a really jam-packed top 10. 228 for Eduardo Zamora, 206 for Chris Bleakley. Bobby Camo, 191, 184 for Andrew Franklin, 178 for Brian Bullock, 177 for Ben Lavender, Adam Hennessy, 176, then Adam Johnson and Scott Jordanson making up the top 10. The grid for this one, we're ready to fire. 2 sprint races here. And Benny Lavender's sharing the front row with Aaron Russell. Tim Watson, Jermaine Tackler the second. Adam Hennessy and Scott Jordanson the third. Brad Coates, Stephen Gallacher the fourth. Dale Sharp, Adam Bryant the fifth. The sixth is Eduardo Zamora, Ryan House. Seventh, Janish Ragwani and James Francone. Eighth row, Andrew Franklin, Aidan Schultz. Ninth row, Kurt Nomanson, Neil Gladwin. So those guys have been able to qualify whilst talking to us in the post-race show for the supercars. Very nicely done. Warren Ibert drops from row 10 alongside Brian Bullock. 11th row, Pavlo, Hannah, Adam Johnson. 12th row, Tim Fuge, Dimitri Agathos. Good to see him back on the grid. 13th row, Ben Goring and Martin Walker. 14th row, Jason Tiedemann and Nigel Patton. 15th row, Joe Baldwin, Patrick Hernal. 16th row, Tayfan Oz Turkman and Robert McGrath. And then Sam Stride and Daniel Snedden will make up this field from the 17th row of the grid. Chase McCubbin, you won't be able to watch the pro split just yet because we're going to bring you the second race from the pros, the first race from the AMs. So 21 minutes here. It's standard procedure now on a sprint night to start with the AMs and then finish with the pros. We'll do that very shortly. Have a look at this. No mucking around from Benny Lavender. He says, I'm in charge of the start here and I'm gone. Almost beat the safety car to the start-finish line, at which point he would have got the penalty from iRacing. Field has been left behind and there's a crash before we even get to the start. Oh my goodness me. We're underway at Road Atlanta, round 8 of Waste Options GT3 and round to go. More trouble. Spinner on the ripple strips. And there's carnage. Scott Jordanson caught up in that. And Warren Ibert's gained 2 spots. Martin Walker's dropped down. Kurt Nomans and Neil Gladwin, then good runs come to an end. But at the front, Benny Lavender leads Aaron Russell, Jermaine Tackler and Tim Weston. Will Race Control review the start from Benny Lavender? Because he seemed to be in one bloody big hurry. Back straight first time. And all hell has broken loose here in the opening 4 kilometres. But look at that, it's 6 and then a gap. Daylight to the next pack of cars. Then daylight further still. Great overtaking opportunity down here at the end of the back straight, as we know. The up and under, always an option here as well, out of the chicane, up over the rise. Got to be careful of that bobble, not to bring yourself unstuck, and I reckon that's probably what's happened at the start. car-to-car contact a possibility as well, but I'm going to say that someone's tripped up on the bump there and brought themselves unstuck. So already some casualties probably come out. And Scott Jordanson showing off the road again. Sam Stride hasn't come around because he's in race control. Liam Amos a non-starter. So we've got 33. Bobby Camo, I think, I'm not sure, might have started from pit lane because he's showing his -1 lap at the moment. Kurt Nomans and Neil Gladwin to pit lane now for their fast repair. Remembering AM split competitors have one fast repair and pro split competitors don't. That's the difference between the two splits as far as leniencies are concerned. Poor boy, oh, more trouble. More trouble. In the wall is Brian Bullock. And plummeting down the order. Now, he's in a McLaren, so let's have a look through. We've got to get to 8, but I reckon we're only going to get to 7. I can't see any Fords out there. So we've got a Porsche, we've got a Mercedes, we've got a Ferrari, 1, 2, and 3. The first of the Bimmers is 5th in Adam Hennessy. Stephen Gallich is in a Lambo in 6th place. What have I got left to mention there? I've got a McLaren and I've got to get an Audi. Audi in Tim Fuge 16th, so Warren Ibert's got company out there in the Audi tonight, and Brian Bullock's the only McLaren out there in 30th place. Scott Jordanson to pit lane on the tow rope. 56 degrees track temp and 31 ambient.
I was about to say, the long shot into the final screen there, we had heat haze on the screen just from the ambient.
Yep, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous.
What a move.
But look at this! Aaron Russell! Around the outside and then the hip and shoulder as well! From Jermaine Takalu, Tim Weston wants a piece and then there's contact! Lavender and Weston have got together! Gallich is the beneficiary of that, so too Hennessy, and the fireworks have let off in Atlanta. Oh my goodness! Aaron Russell, balls of steel. What about that for a move? Got the better of Benny Lavender. Dimitri Agathos in trouble. So too Aiden Schultz at the moment. Those two plummeting down the order. Tim Weston has dropped to 8th spot in all of that. It could have been worse. He's the fastest man on the racetrack. 1 minute 20.331. But he's now buried in the pack in 8th. Adam Bryant currently sits 10th. That'd put him in the invert pole position for the second race. Aaron Russell's going to bring him back to the line at the end of lap 3, and this is how it happened. Now, okay, so it's not as clear-cut balls of steel as we thought it might have been, because we didn't actually see Benny Lavender come unstuck. Oh, can't say I'm a fan of the rejoin from Lavender then. I don't think race control will view that too favourably. That's what's led to the contact with Weston. Russell, the beneficiary of Lavender making the mistake. Still 5 manufacturers in the top 5, if you can believe that. Dale Sharp, Ryan House, 6th and 7th in the Mercs. Tim Weston, Adam Bryant has got up into 9th spot, swapping places with Brad Coates now. Brad Coates in 9th and Adam Bryant 10th. And swapping around once more. We've picked up 13th, which is Andrew Franklin. All over the back of James Frenco, Tim Fuge, Janis Ragwani, and Dimitri Agathos for company behind him. That's just one big train. So did we actually get to see what happened at the start? We probably need to have a look and see what happened in the rolling start. Kurt Nomanson it was. Oh no. So Nomanson's clouded the he's got that bump, hasn't he?
No, it's Gladwin. Gladwin's lost the rear over the crest on the start, and Nomanson had nowhere to go.
Okay. So they're both running different liveries to what you're seeing in there.
Oh, it's just the thing isn't updated properly.
Copy. So Gladwin got the bump. Nomanson had nowhere to go. All of a sudden, their night has started off rather roughly. Scott Jordanson got collected, and that unfortunately just creates a knock-on. Bang. Warren Ibert, I think that was straight into him. So there's a few cars minus their front end at the moment. There's a few drivers that are going to be very happy to see the end of this race, and that's live! Oh, trouble! Adam Bryant. And did well Eduardo Zamora was the one that got around him. Slightly compromised on the run through, but didn't get completely cleaned up. Aaron Russell's still the leader here. 1 minute 20.050, the fastest lap of the race. Here comes Adam Johnson. Tim Fuge all over the back of him, down the inside. Fuge, big lunge. Got him to 15. Johnson back to 16. Up over the crest once more. And I'll tell you what, I can't say I was a fan of how spread out that field was at the start there, but that's on the pole sitter Benny Lavender. He got going very, very quickly. Didn't get penalised for it either. The field was in his control, in his hands. He just had to not pass the safety car before it had peeled off the pit lane. He didn't, and he was good to go. So, I mean, that'll keep everybody second guessing what the leader wants to do, who is the pace setter, for the second race a little bit later on. But Lavender saw no point in waiting around and dragging it out. He just wanted to hit the gas and get going. Now, this is Dimitri Agathos. In 12th place. Number 166. Caught up with him recently. We're both in Western Sydney. Unfortunately, the real world Subaru just not firing on all cylinders at the moment. Once he gets it firing, though, and mechanically reliable, oh boy, it's going to be a weapon. 1 minute 20.013 for Jermaine Takalu, now the fastest lap of the race. Here's Tim Weston defending. Stephen Gallacher across the start-finish line once more. We're at the end of lap 7. Sorry, the start of lap 7, I should say. So we're getting about 6 laps every 8 minutes. So what's that going to leave us with? 12 in 16. Probably, is it 16 laps this opening race, Adam Lavis? Have I got that right? 15, 16? Yep, 16. Perfect. Got it. Aaron Russell leads Jermaine Takalu. And there is Bobby Camo coming unstuck and limping. Brian Bullock's still on pit road, showing down there in 34th place, 33rd actually. Scott Jordanson. Everybody, to their credit, is back out on the racetrack. Eduardo Zamora is not. He's on pit road again. This is what brought Bobby undone. Trying to get back up to speed now. He hasn't stopped yet. He's got a little bit of a wounded and stricken race car, but he has not made his way to pit lane just yet. Off goes Patrick Hernal, but back on. And in the meantime, we pick up Ryan Howe in 5th place. Good run so far for Ryan. Jeez, he's having a good night, isn't he? Really good run in Super 3, as we know. And now up 7 spots already in GT3 and.
Must be. I think this is the first time I've actually seen heat haze just from the sim. Like, I've seen it when we've done replays really close to exhaust. But yeah, the track temperature tonight off the scales. You guys must have no grip. Just a balmy summer's day in Atlanta.
Absolutely. It's a curler of a day. Ryan Howe, 5th place at the moment. Oh, have a look at this. That's front cone. All over the back of Joe Baldwin. They've got Adam Johnson's interviewed for the company. Pablo Hanna's gone off in the background. Rejoin. Oh, jeez. It's on in earnest here. Have a look at these guys. Pablo Hanna in 19th. Trying to get down on the inside. Warren Ibert around the outside, holding 18th for the moment. And then Robert McGrath in 17th, but Ben Goring in 17th and Robert McGrath in 16th. So Goring in the Lambo, Ibert in the Audi, and Pablo Hanna in the Porsche. Back to Dale Sharp we go. Under pressure here from Ryan Howe, the 2 Mercedes going at it. Hannessy's got his hands full with this pair. That's the battle for 3rd. Russell's got Takalu covered off 1.1 the margin, but the floodgates have opened because those two have just taken off. They're 7.5 seconds ahead of this pack. They are fighting for 3rd. 10 minutes to go here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Lap 9 of 16. Race 1 of 2 for the evening. For Waste Options GT3, remembering we'll bring you the Pro Split once we're done here and take you to Road Atlanta once more for round 8 of their series. Points Matrix drop rounds are in the equation now as well, ladies and gentlemen. Lot to be excited about here. It's a big night. Next week, of course, Supercars off to Motegi. We'll be taking GT3 to the Algarve circuit in Portimao, Portugal. Then on to Road Americas. So we do a little bit of continent hopping in the last few weeks of the campaign. Remembering that we went to Mount Panorama in round 5, to the Nürburgring in round 6 too. Oh, look at this, Sharpie up the outside. Under pressure on the inside, 2 for the price of 1 for Ryan Howe. What about that for a bit of work? And now, under pressure, Hennessy, sharp down the inside, can't get it done. What about that from Ryan Howe? What a night he is having. Already a winner in Super 3. Already on the podium in race 1 for GT3M. It could be a really good night for that young man. Hennessy, Sharp, Western, Gallagher, Lavender. Coates and Agathos for top 10. Agathos defending Franklin for the final spot in the 10, which gives you the invert pole for the second race. Remembering when we get to GT3 Pro, of course, I wanted to make mention that the continent hopping continues. So, I mean, round 5 was Australia, round 6 was Europe, round 7 was Asia, round 8 is up here in America, in North America. Then we continue, go back to Europe, then back to North America. So all that continent hopping in the last few weeks of the campaign. These boys are getting dizzy, these boys are getting tired, these boys are racking up the virtual frequent flyer miles down to the inside. Sharp trying to hold on to 4. And Western up the outside. Hennessy as well. Have a look at them arguing over the same piece of real estate. Watch Western! Did very well not to get into the back of Adam Hennessy right there. But Sharpie somehow holding on to 4th. And in all of that, Ryan Howe has taken off 2.2 to the good on that lap alone. 6 laps to go. Aaron Russell the leader. 1.5 the margin to Jermaine Takaloo. Then Ryan Howe, Dale Sharp, Adam Hennessy, Tim Western, Stevie Gallagher and Ben Lavender with Brad Coates and Dimitri Agathos making up the top 10. You're looking at 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, ladies and gentlemen. And they represent Mercedes, BMW, Ferrari, Lambo and Porsche. 5 different makes on screen right there. That's what we love about Waste Options GT3. Great to have you tuning in wherever you are around the world, watching on our platforms across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Loving the interaction via the comments tonight. Tilly's in China locked at 0-0. We're waiting for Alex Demonor at Roland Garros. He'll be on court tonight. And we are looking forward to that immensely. That match is not far off getting underway. Alex Demonor. Also tonight on centre court, Novak Djokovic, Alexander Zverev as well. So a lot to be excited about in the men's side of the draw tonight at Roland Garros. You can watch that on 9Gem and then Stan Sport. Takaloo with the fastest lap of the race, sitting in 2nd at the moment. Ryan Howe is 3rd. Dale Sharp, Adam Hennessy. So Sharpie's put a little bit of distance between himself and Hennessy. Hennessy now defending Western. Western's got Gallagher for company. Then a small gap back to Benny Lavender and Brad Coates. How unlucky Ben Lavender. One small mistake, it's just dropped him down the order 7 spots. Races are won and lost in the early laps. That one got away from him very quickly. So Western in 6th. Russell to the line with 4 to go. Can't take your eyes off this battle for 5th, but have a look at that. Lavender's night goes from bad to worse. Relegated to 9th now. Through on the inside goes Brad Coates. Porsche on Porsche. Oh boy. And they're very happy to stretch the friendship with the grass trimmings on the outside of the final corner, aren't they? Oh, jeez. Brad Coates is 8th at the moment. And having a look at the biggest movers, Ryan Howe up 9 spots, Dimitri Agathos up 14, Joe Baldwin up 17 spots into 12, Nigel Patton up 10 spots, Daniel Snedden up 13 as well. And they're the biggest of the movers. Biggest losers in all of that, well, Ryan Bullock's still on pit lane, so too Eduardo Zamora. Bobby Cabo's just parked up and shot through for the night. They're having an early shower. Jadesh Ragwani, that explains why he is on pit road. Well, actually, he came to pit road and why he's a lap down. That's unfortunate for him. Scott Jordanson also a lap down. Pavlo Hanna out there at the moment will be the next car to go a lap down as Aaron Russell ranges up onto the back of him at the moment. Hennessy still trying to defend 5th place from Western. What about this return up as well, Adam Lavis? I mean, get your thoughts on this because you've been here doing this as long as I have. The interesting thing for mine is look at 1, 3, and 4. Sorry, Merc. It's been a while since we've seen Mercedes have this dominant a run in GT3. I mean, all the excitement at the moment. Hennessy under pressure here. Western trying to get by over him like a cheap suit. Can't get it done. But one little cough, one little slip up from Hennessy and Western will go through. That'll be a Ferrari into 5th place when that happens. Don't worry, Stephen Gallacher's coming for them as well in the Lambo. Brad Coates in the Porsche. They all want a piece of the top 5 here. Merc, 1, 3, and 4. It's been a while since we've seen that, Adam Lavis. All the hype at the moment. We're forgetting about some of the regular manufacturers, some of the mainstay manufacturers in this caper because we're so excited about the new Ford and also the Chev coming in, but the Corvette I should say. But let's not lose sight of the fact that we've got Mercs running 1, 3, and 4 at the moment.
The Merc's always been a good car, but there's only the 2 front-engine drives, BMW and the Merc. And recently, the consensus has been with the Beam having that little bit more top-end handling. That seems to be the favourable of the front-engine drivers. But the Merc is still a very handy car if you put it in the right hands and on the right track. And obviously around Red Atlanta, the boys are finding it in the hot, especially in the hot conditions. It's all coming together for them.
Breaking news out of Sydney, the Tillies have gone up 1-0 in the early stages in the 3rd minute of the second half. 1-0 against China. We'll keep you updated with the scores there. With a lap and a half to go here in race 1 of Waste Options GT3 AM. I must admit we didn't get a break between supercars and GT3, so my throat's running a little bit dry at the moment. Looking forward to switching servers and going to the Pro Split very shortly so that I can skip away to the fridge for 30 seconds and grab a top up. In the meantime, Russell, Takaloo, Howe, Sharp, Hennessy, Western, Gallacher, Coates and Lavender the top 9. Dimitri Agathos now all over the back of Benny Lavender as well. Keep an eye on that. Because Lavender could go from pole to pole. If he gets passed by Dimitri Agathos, he will have the invert pole position for the next race. So he'll have a chance to redeem himself. No doubt about that. Back straight, penultimate time. Russell's coming down to the final sequence of corners. These guys are halfway along the back straight. Russell's 3.8 to the good on Takaloo, who's got 8 seconds on Ryan Howe, who's got 3 seconds on Dale Sharp, who's got 3 seconds on this battle. Hennessy. Under pressure from Western. Western can't find a way by just yet. Jeez, that BMW of Hennessy's got some straight line poke, there's no doubt about that. White flag in the air. Farmer's actually on deck tonight. Good to see. Been a bit slack in recent weeks, that so-and-so. Anyway, Russell, Takaloo, Howe, Sharp, Hennessy and Western. I'm about half an hour off being able to call them exactly what I think of them, but in the meantime, I'll just bite my tongue. Final lap, Western all over the back of Hennessy. Look at that. Robert McGrath on the inside of Adam Johnson up into 14th spot, and behind them is Ben Goring. Again, you got you got a Ferrari, a Porsche, and a Lambo there, and Warren Ibert in the Audi in 7th, 8th spot. Joe Baldwin in 12th, James Franco in 13th, the 2 Ferraris going at it. Here's Benny Lavender under pressure from Dimitri Agathos. Jeez, there's so much to keep an eye on this back straight. Final run down here. at the front. Merck on top. Will not get to those lap back markers in front. They'll come to the line, get the white flag, and Russell will get the checkered flag. Job done for Aaron Russell and wins the opening sprint race yet again, this time at Road Atlanta in Waste Options GT3, round 8 of the campaign. Third to Howe, fourth to Sharp. Fifth will go potentially to Hennessy if he can hold off Weston. This is going to be tight. Have a look at this final corner. Hennessy! Jump! Then Weston, Gallagher, Coates. Lavender held off Agathos, but Lavender will still start on the front row for the invert. And Agathos will have the invert pole after gaining 14 positions in that race. Andrew Franklin 11th, Joe Trucker Baldwin up 17 spots to 12, James Brencone 13th. Robert McGrath will come home 14th, Adam Johnson, Ben Goring, then Warren Ibert, Nigel Patton that X1 home 18th place, 19th for Martin Walker, and Adam Bryant in 20th. Aidan Schultz will be 21st, Daniel Snedden 22nd, Jason Tierman 23rd, Neil Gladwin after that opening lap pit stop 24th, and then Tayfun Ozturkman 25th and Kurt Nomanson 26th. Tim Fuge came home a lap down, so too Patrick Hernal, Pavlo Hanna, Janash Ragwani, Scott Jordanson 2 laps down, and Eduardo Zamora a DNF. So too Bobby Camo and Brian Bullock. But at least the latter, Zamora and Bullock, not Camo, are still in the server and ready to go once more. Oh boy. Aaron Russell the winner. Very nicely done. The Merc on top here on the platforms of the GSRC in round 8, race 1 of Waste Options GT3 AM. Back-to-back opening sprint race wins, I think I'm right in saying, for Aaron Russell as well. I'm pretty sure he was on top this time last week. So he's in some sort of purple patch. There's no doubt about that. Not necessarily a championship contender, but at least he's making his presence known when he is in the house. Picked up 43 points last week. And, picked up the feature race last week, not the sprint race. Feature race last week. Now the opening heat tonight. Joe Baldwin, quickly to you. Up 17 spots, mate. That's a far cleaner run than what you had at Motorsport.
I keep saying how much I suck at qualifying, and I proved it again tonight. But that was a lot of fun. I had some great racing as I was coming up through there with a couple of the guys. So it's had a couple of laps there with James Francone, and I got a break. But before I could get to Andrew and Demetrios, we were a 54 or 55 degree track. Sorry, and I just got the tyres hot and couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't get any pace once I got out in the open, and it was all right once you're sort of in behind people and dicing because you're not running at full pace. But once I got clear and picked the pace up a bit, I just got the tyres hot, and that was it. I just stalled out. So it's the way it goes. But look, 17 up with no major incidents. I think I had one little bit of a bump with Tim Foos there just before the run onto the back straight. But other than that, it was a pretty clean race.
Certainly was indeed, mate. Up 17 spots, and hopefully you'll be able to go on with it in race 2 starting from 12th.
Yeah, certainly going to try if we can just get in. Look, the AM class, I'm not going to say it was easier last season or whatever, but some of the guys in here have certainly picked up the pace this season. Like, they've gotten a lot faster, and it's sort of right through the field. It's great to see, and it's that same old thing where, a rising tide lifts all boats. So everybody's improving, which is great to see, and the times are a lot tighter than what they have been in previous seasons. So it's great to see for the club.
Indeed it is. Very nicely done. Thank you for that, Trucker. We're going to let you go and focus on race 2, mate. Go well.
Thank you.
And the Aussies have just doubled up at the Adelaide, at the Accor Stadium in Sydney in what they call the old Olympic side at Homebush. They've just doubled up as we go to the break. So the Aussies lead China 2-0 after 55 minutes, and we're waiting for Alex de Minaur to take to the court at Roland Garros. A big night of watching the Aussies on the international stage. In the meantime, we hope to keep you entertained here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Race 2 of our 3 program for the night done and dusted. We go from one GT3 server to the other and bring you the Pro Split second race on the other side of this. And we do it, as always, ladies and gentlemen, with thanks to Sprite Insider, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. It is great to have you along for the ride. Night 1 of Week 8 in Term 2 of 2024. Far from done. Don't go away. Back with GT3 Pro on the feature race of the night for you in just a moment. Monday Night Motorsport continuing for you on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. It is terrific to have you along for the ride. Waste Options GT3, the main course of the evening for you. Night 1 of Week 8 in Term 2 of 2024. And once again, because GT3 and Pro and Am follow the same calendar, ladies and gentlemen, we take you to the Road Atlanta circuit in Georgia and race 2 of the program. The 4th and final sprint round of the season next week, 60 minutes from the Algarve circuit in Portugal. And of course, 90 minutes from one of our old favourites, Road America, to bring the curtain down on this campaign in a fortnight's time. Next week, of course, the public holiday for much of the progressive and civilised parts of the country. And then, of course, the week after, it'll be a 90-minute marathon for you to look forward to. We're at 6:17 in the evening, 31 degrees the ambient, 38 on track, far more pleasant conditions there for GT3 Pro. A 4.06 kilometre course, 20% humidity, clear blue skies there at the moment, and 3 km/h winds, so bugger all chance of rain tonight from Road Atlanta. Let's have a look at the championship standings as they stood coming into this round, with the Audis 1 and 2. 40 points the advantage. Matty Dent to Richard Mitchum, then Jared Knight in third. Oscar Haynes, Ash Collins, then Simon Nicholson, David Johnson, Thomas Foster, Richard King, Adam Burhop, and then Colby Cowan makes up the top 11. Fred Kahn just behind him. Nick Wood, Aaron Cooper, and Stephen Banks. But what's important there is that you've got positional battles alive and well for second and third in this points race, all the way down to Simon Nicholson, and then a little bit of a breathing space for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th in relation to one another. Let's have a look at the qualifying results from this round of the championship. An enormous grid tonight, ladies and gentlemen. In excess of 40 cars on this grid. It is going to be well worth keeping an eye on once we get going. Matty Dench tore it to shreds in the opening qualifying session. 1 minute 18.260. And got the better of John Merritt, Oscar Haynes, Jared Knight, and Sergei Zagorskas. Zagorskas. Well, apologies. Ben Woods and David Johnson, Sam Muir, Nick Wood, and David Bernays, the top 10. Results from race 1 reflects the inverted top 10 for race 2. Denchi on top, 4.5 to John Merritt. Then Haynes, Knight, Muir, Zagorskas, Woods, Wong. That's Chuk Fung Wong, Fred Kahn, and David Bernays, the top 10. And as a result of that, they invert. And we'll have a look at the rest of the grid for you lining up here. So, again, Bernays to first, Dench to 10th, everybody else swapping around accordingly. Let's have a look at rows 6 through 10. Nick Wood, Kai Ardley, and Richard King, Andrew Hazard, Trent Allen, Michael Edwards, Adam Burhop, Jonathan Hooper, Daniel Piper, William Yarwood. Row 11 is Dayton Snadden and David Johnson, Matt Schmidtke, Greg Heaney, Thomas Foster, Adam Chiplin, Ryan Mulder, Glenn Wilkinson, Dave Riddell, and Sean Benici take us back to the outside of row 15. Then 16, Jeff Adams, Chris McDonald, Andrew Neal, Parry Anastakis, Colby Cowan, Scott Wooden, Dave Oliver, Paul Wood, Jack Jackson, Adam Proctor, then Greg Brooks and Glenn Arnott, with Jordan Malcolm making up this field. My bloody goodness. And have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. All except the McLaren represented in this server tonight. You got Ferrari, you got BMW, you got Audi, Lambo, Porsche, all in the top 10. Outside of that, I reckon there'll be a Merc somewhere down the line here. Actually, no, there's not. Just the Ford of Jordan Malcolm. How good's that? Jonathan Hooper to pit lane. Jack Rogers, Trent Allen, Sean Benici don't start. The rest of the field come to green. We're racing in Georgia. I reckon there might have been some trouble further back in the pack because there's been a couple of cars left behind here. On the run to one. Oh, jeez. Some argy-bargy early in the piece and off track as well. On the run up out of one. 40 cars took the green flag and Jonathan Hooper's on pit road. Sean Benici's just joined the server as well in pit lane. And he's rejoined from the rear of the grid. So maybe, just maybe, as Dane Snadden has a spin, maybe Jonathan Hooper missed the jump and Sean Benici as well in terms of joining the server before the field set off behind the pace car. David Bernays converts pole position into the early race lead here. Matty Dench, we're keeping an eye on him. Got hustled and bustled back to 13th position in all of that. Sergey's there in 6th spot at the moment. Have a look at the slipstream training behind him. Oscar Haynes as well. Do we want to run 2 wide this early in the piece? Yes, we do. Do we want to try 3 wide? No, not yet. Have a look at that. Big gap back to the rest of the pack. The last week in which we will see a sprint race on a GT3 Monday night for you folks. As Adam Lavis confirmed earlier, even though the Mustang and the Corvette drop tomorrow night, they won't be on these platforms in this slot until week 1 of term 3. Just to keep the playing field fair, even and consistent. We'll see out the current season with the crop of cars that we've got. And from next term, all bets are off. Another manufacturer to play with. Oh, Fred Kahn gone, and so too Sergey. Trouble at the top of the hill, and Kahn's pointing the wrong way.
Yeah, just that exit of that corner, if you go wide and all the bumps there, it's very easy to unsettle the car, especially these cars with their traction control. Small steering lock, and yeah.
Probably the throat like I do, mate.
You know, I've had it for 2 weeks now.
David Johnson in trouble early. Sean Benici and Jonathan Hooper rejoining the race. They're all up down. 40th, 41st and 42nd. No safety car as yet. We continue to run. Jared Knight's got up to 5th spot. John Merritt to 6th. Kai Ardley to 7th. And Matty Daniels still sitting 13th. Can you believe that? Is there a little bit of tactical gamesmanship at play for Dench here? We'll wait and see. 1 minute 19, 7.94 for Chuk Fung Wong, and a 1:19.583 for Ben Woods, and a 1:19.479 for Alan Burhoff. The fastest start of the race changes heads 3 times in the matter of seconds. Sergey back to 12th, and 13th. I'm just having another look through this server here. No McLaren and no Mercedes. No love for those 2 manufacturers in this server, but all 8 manufacturers represented across the 2 servers tonight. And then, of course, we should point out, whoa, Oscar Haynes down the inside to go to 3rd on Ben Woods. Very nicely done. Those 2 working together, of course, for Twitchy Foot. David Bernays, the leader. Chuk Fung Wong, 2nd. And let's have a look at the replay of the start and what happened to Michael Edwards. Oh, turn 1, lap 1. I don't like the look of where that's going. Grass. Yep. Had to take evasive action.
It's a big concertina right in front of me and nowhere else to go.
Got walked. Oh, and then more trouble. We'll see a replay of what happened to Fred Kahn in just a moment. We're just rolling through those from the start now. For those of you that are asking and are just joining us. So, Denchi's still sitting 13th. I'm wondering how long he's going to let that rubbish roll on for, just quietly. Remembering that he won't mind tonight, just because I haven't mentioned the name Richard Mitchum yet. And Mitchum, of course, not in the server means that it's a a clear set of heels and a leg up for Denchi in the championship fight. Yep, the curb will do it every time. Oh, two separate incidents. Was that evasive action taken by the second car there? Let's have a look. This is riding on board with Sergei Zagorskas.
I think they both did the same thing.
Yeah. Just he got away with it a lot better than Fred did. And Khan's dropped down to 37th in all of that. Oh boy. Have a look at this. Dave Oliver getting a touch. A love tap. Back down the hill he goes. John Merritt now fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 19.164. They're riding with him now. At the end of lap 4. On to lap 5 we go. Merritt. One minute 19.164. 1 minute 19.363 last time round. What's Denchi doing? He's up in 12th. 1 minute 20.167 last time round. So let's wait and see. I've got this nasty feeling that Denchi's just doing a little bit of fuel saving. It's not like him to be sitting there in 12th in an invert situation like this. 37 minutes. There's no doubt some benefit to just sitting in the slipstream and dragging along in the tow in the train here. But how long he can do it for practically remains to be seen. Onto the back straight again. Lavis and then Caben in the commentary box for you. And we'll be here again same time next week and the week after, folks. And I do believe we're going to double up and bring you a Tuesday night Motorsport special that week as well for the Logsy Racing Van Ring Cup finale for the up-and-comers. Stand by for more information on that. And of course, no Daniel Priasar and Liam Banks this Wednesday night. Of course, State of Origin. That's not the official reason, but that's the reason we're running with because it sounds better. And then, obviously, Daniel and I are back with you on Thursday night, Joe and Nick here on Friday night. Obviously, we're well aware of Nick's hamstrung computer PC issues at the moment. Hoping that he'll be back on deck at some point down the line, and hopefully we'll get some IndyCar racing back on the platforms of GSRC in due course with that as well. In the meantime, we continue on. David Bernays in first, leading Oscar Haynes, and it's been well controlled by Bernays so far. How long does Haynes want to sit there? Haynes now has the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 19.055. Let's wait and see. Onto the back straight again. Now he goes for the move. Rolls out of the graft and goes for it. He'll be on the outside for the left-hander at the bottom of the straight, but he's hoping to have Bernays covered off by that point. I don't think he's going to get his wish. Bernays defends on the inside.
He's going to try
Haynes
super
up
in
on
the outside.
outside. It's side by side. Haynes has got it and covered him off. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Time the screen at my end, hoping that it's only a small issue that I can rectify here as we go. In the meantime, we'll keep that totem pole up on the left-hand side of your screen, folks. There we go, that's better. Just had a small issue there, folks, with the, it does that occasionally my HDMI input, it just goes grainy, analog style. And quick refresh, quick kick in the guts, and we're back up and running, firing on all cylinders. Burhop to the inside, Burhop to 10th. On Matty Dench, that's a good battle to keep an eye on. And that, oh no, sorry, no, Burhop was passed by Nick Wood. Jeez, there's a lot happening there at the moment, and look at Dench hovering right there with them. Burhop to the outside, Wood to the inside. Dench gets the toe from Wood. Now, if you're Denchy, do you want 2 for 1 at the bottom of the hill, or do you just want to follow them through and sit back there and wait patiently? Let's have a look at this. Burhop to the outside. In the BMW. Whoa! Nick Wood and Matty Dench both in the Audi, but the BMW prevails. Critical question here, Adam Lavis. 20 laps to go. Now that we're on lap 8 of 27. 20 to go. When do we see pit stops, and how long will this fuel window drag out for? When's the earliest you can stop and get home? And conversely, when's the latest you can stop and get home? We're about to find out, I think. Have a look at Nick Wood, forcing the issue with Burhop. Door-to-door contact, banging, off goes Wood. Those two cars really getting into it now. Burhop comes back down the inside of Wood and gets him back. Wood might have had a slow down to serve there, a redress if you like. Burhop's going to lead him up over the crest. Burhop's wide. Oh, he did well. He did well. And now look at Denchi. Denchi's decided, I don't want a part of this anymore. I want out of this. I need to get to the front of this battle pack and take off.
And Nick Wood's going to drop to the back of it with a slowdown.
Oh, boy. How quickly it changes. Top 10 at the moment. You've got Denchi in 10th in the Audi. You've got 2 Audis. You've got 4 Ferraris, 2 BMWs, a Porsche, and a Lambo in the top 10 at the moment. Oscar Haynes has gone to the lead on David Bernays and taken off. And now Bernays is under pressure from Fung Wong, Woods, Knight, and Merritt. And Ardley is only 1.3 seconds away with Sam Muir from joining that train with David Bernays in the forefront of it. Adam Burhop is trying to drag that next train of cars along with him. He's got Matty Dench for company, Richard King and Sergei Zagorkas as well.
But your question for the pit window, it should be open now. So you guys could choose to come in whenever they like. So now it's just a matter of when do they want to pull the trigger.
So we've got an Austrian, we've got a couple of Kiwis, we've got plenty of Aussies in the server. We're going truly international tonight on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. We've got the Greek in Parry Anastakis, we've got the Yank in Sean Benici. We've got a real international flavour here. It's good fun. Off went Chris McDonald and a safe enough rejoin. Well played. Good evasive action taken there from the Chilchi foot car to the right-hand side. In the meantime, Oscar Haynes is still the fastest car on the circuit. Uh-oh, that didn't end well. Let's have a look at this. Uh-oh. Bang. Off went McDonald. He got... So one twitchy foot car got by okay and the other one just sent him.
I think that was Roddle. No, I'm actually not going on it. I think it was going on it.
I think Chris McDonald's going to the back of the garage. I don't think that one's going anywhere.
He was on it.
No fast repairs, of course, in GT3 Pro. Glenn Arnott is the one that has got into the side of him there.
But I'm not sure if that was Glenn or whether it was, oh mate, just coming across a little bit. There could be a little bit of a racing incident there. But race control will look at it and make a decision.
Expensive racing incident. Ooh. So McDonald are on pit road. Cooper and Benici have got back out there after starting from pit lane. Andrew Hazard now off the road, showing on our screens. In the meantime,
he's way off.
On the exit of 1 and on the tow rope he goes.
He's going to lose the rear end of a sim twitchy.
Watch this.
Oh no, he's got the grass. He's just got the grass.
The grass and bang into the wall. That's an ugly one. And an unfortunate one. 18 laps to go. Haynes is the leader. We're on lap 10. Jared Knight is 5th. John Merritt is 6th. There is Matty Dench in 10th. Trying to get by Adam Burhop on the outside. Burhop to the inside. Dench to the outside. Who goes deeper under brakes? Who tries to force the issue? Denchi, can he get there on the inside? No, Burhop got across nicely, just to cover it off. And now they've got to be mindful of Richard King as well. "75 minutes gone at the Olympic site in Homebush, the Olympic Stadium, a core stadium as it's known these days. Australia leading China 2-0. Monday night international women's football. The last hit out for the Mixorders before they head to France. The Olympics in Paris, and of course remembering men's football Thursday night, the Socceroos will be in action against Bangladesh, and next Tuesday night against Palestine. So the next leg of 2026 World Cup qualifiers are upon us already, which is good fun there. Ben Woods in 4th place, down the inside. Defending on Jared Knight. John Merritt there as well. Have a look at those two. I don't envy Ben Woods at the moment. He's a good peddler on his day when he can hit the markers and dot the I's and cross the T's. Right now, he's under serious pressure because he's got 2 of the best in the business, Jared Knight and John Merritt. All over him like a cheap suit. Kai Ardley's there as well. He and Sam Muir are trying to latch onto this battle. Might be able to do so if they keep squabbling. But in the meantime, Oscar Haynes is bolted 3.7 to the good on David Bernays. What sort of game is that getting up to? Although, interesting to note, Adam Lavis, that that's a train, Adam Burhop, at the forefront of that next train. Dench has got by Burhop. Dench has gone by Burhop because Burhop's gone to pit lane. Now, there you go. On that note, Dench is now 2.1 away off Sam Ewan. Can they close that gap and get onto the back of that train? We'll wait and see. Woods, Knight, Merritt, Ardley, 3 Ferraris, 5th, 6th and 7th at the moment. Richard King in 10th place. And David Bernays in 2nd. 5 Ferraris in the 10, 2 Audis, a Porsche, BMW and a Lambo. With Chris McDonald's parked up. He's the only retirement thus far of everybody that started this race, which is extraordinary. We had 42 cars start this race. 2 of them from pit lane. Extraordinary turnout, extraordinary numbers and interest in GT3 at the moment for waste options. If you're waste options, you're very happy with your investment because the product is top shelf on a Monday night each and every week. Even the race at the Nordschleife wasn't as boring as the real world T4. I mean, at least we didn't get beaten by the weather. Across the line we go. There's Haynes, gone. And daylight to Bernays and everybody else. And Ben Woods all over the back of Chuk Fung Long, chasing Bernays. Haynes is pretty here. It's Haynes' to lose. Greg Brooks. Uh-oh. Final corner. He didn't make it. He slid into the concrete. Drift work into the final quarter, but unfortunately didn't drift the right way. Okay, now we're seeing some pit lane activity. Let's have a look at this. Dave Oliver. Oh, sent on the exit. Bang. Of the second to the last corner on this racetrack. Colby Cowan, Greg Brooks, Greg Heaney on pit road. Dave Oliver will find his way to pit road after this. Adam Burhop, the man at fault. Paul Wood on the outside there. Uh-oh. Yeah, Adam Burhop might have a case to answer there. He might just, and remember he was the first of that leading bunch of cars to really pull the trigger and say, look, I want to go to pit lane. I need to go to pit lane. I want to get out of this. Now, it's interesting, too, because... Oh, off goes Scott Wooden. Off goes Scott Wooden and Paul Wood. And top 28 yet to stop Adam Lavis. It's
one of those things, like there's times where you're near the front, you're in a battle. You know that if it goes well, pitting can be an undercut. But with the field this size, it's the higher risk that you're going to get stuck in a bit of argy-bargy traffic you don't want to be in. And it's going to possibly hinder your results. That's what's happened there with Adam. He's come out. And guys are battling hard, and unfortunately, that's not going to help his race.
Not at all. I think it's going to be very interesting in the back end as well, just how packed and congested pit lane's going to be, mate. Because that could also be a telling factor here. And we're seeing more. Scott Wooden, that was his incident. There's that on replay. We're hearing more and more incidents being called in at the moment via race control. We can hear them in our ears right now. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a cricket fan, the tickets for the upcoming summer of cricket, the internationals at least, go on sale tomorrow. Priority pre-sale, of course, at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning local time. So there you go. And the general public sales go on Friday week, the 14th of June. Adam?
Just saying Jared Knight just got through?
And that's important too, because Benny Woods has been under pressure for much of the night, and Knight has finally cracked that door open and found a way through. Johnny Merritt, the next target that Ben Woods has got to be worried about here. Well, at 15 or 27, you might notice that the old graphics department's being put through its paces, put to the test tonight. But bear with us, folks. We're doing our best. 12 positions gained for Tommy Foster, 13 for Ryan Mulder, 15 for Jeff Adams, 16 for Andrew Neal. But what we haven't seen is the top 24 cars transit pit lane. Denchi, however, did pit. There you go. That was picked up by the screen. Comments there in Twitch. And Denchi's rejoined in 25th position, but obviously the best placed of those two have stopped to this point. So everybody else yet to stop. What happened to Adam Burhop, please? He's now about 3 seconds behind Denchi, just quietly.
Yeah, the incident with David Oliver. No, well, Scott Wooden, he might have had a screen freeze like Stuckey.
I think so. All right. John Merritt, Kai Ardley to pit road. And so the field slowly but surely sorting itself out here and cleansing. So many people yet to stop. Pit lane going to be very busy over the next few laps as we edge closer to that 27 number. On the top left of your screen there, we're on lap 16, 12 to go. 11.5 for our leader, Oscar Haynes, who's about to make his way onto the back straight. John Merritt, Kai Ardley, Thomas Foster, Michael Edwards, Jeff Adams all on pit road. So too Parry Anastakis this time by. Have a look at it. Pit lane very, very busy at the home of Petit Le Mans. Of course, that's the next big one too in 12 days time, ladies and gentlemen. Le Mans 24 hour. Looking forward to that immensely.
As long as there's no fault.
Yes. And just some breaking news as well in the world of Formula 1. We're covering it all tonight for you on the platforms of GSRC. As Glenn Arnott is under pressure from Matty Dench right here and now. And Denchi makes light work of Arnott around the outside. Does Arnott let him through? No, he forces the issue. He goes deep. Denchi says, nope, I've had enough of this. I'm going around the outside, full send. And Denchi holds on. Very nicely done. Breaking news from the world of Formula 1. The Alpine team have just announced they'll part ways. They'll part company with Esteban Ocon at the end of this season. So more on that obviously available on the Formula 1 website and on the Formula 1 app. In the meantime, down the inside, Glenn Arnott can't get by. That's, of course, just ahead of him, Fred Kahn. That's a suite of BMWs there. Kahn, Arnott, and Burhop. Just ahead of them, Kai Ardley and Matty Dench. Chuk Fung Wong out onto the racetrack again in position number 17. Make it 18, make it probably 19 around the outside will come Matty Dench. No, Fung Wong's covered him off and got out ahead of him. So too did John Merritt. So this race is on because Dench is not the leader of the pack. It was a very tormented sort of opening stint for Denchi. Boxed in outside the top 10 for much of it. Now the chase is on to try and get Chuk Fung Wong. There he is, 3 car lengths up the road. And then I don't know if he'll catch Merritt on those numbers.
Leader is he?
Oscar Haynes to pit lane. Jared Knight continues on to lap 18. Muir does as well. Bernays and Wood to pit lane. Zagorkas and King continue on. Woods and Wood and Mulder to pit lane. So this seems to be the critical lap for so many. Schmidtke, Neal, both in now. Wilkinson and Snadden and Chiplin yet to stop. Make it Chiplin yet to stop. Wilkinson and Snadden have all opted in, so too now Chiplin. So everyone first through 6 yet to stop. Everybody else has now stopped, and Oscar Haynes remains the effective race leader.
He has a massive gap.
He's got a huge gap.
Where's he got that from?
It's 8.6 seconds. It's 8.6 seconds. It is ridiculous. That is an astonishing margin from Oscar Haynes. Whoa, Denchi round the outside. No holds barred on Chuk Fung Wong. Well done, Denchi. A big set. Fred Kahn in 14th place yet to stop. So too Glenn Arnott 17th yet to stop. Everybody else has now transited the lane with the exception of the top 6 in the motor race. And Hooper, Riddell, Benici still on pit road, Yarwood, Wooden as well. Hazard has been there for 11.5 minutes. He's not going anywhere. Dave Oliver, Adam Proctor parked up, so too Chris McDonald, so too Andrew Hazard. So, and Scott Wooden may as well be. And William Yarwood's about to be. So, I mean, in all of that, to still have 36 cars racing and a good chunk of them on the lead lap, everyone from Paul Wood up, so 32nd, top 32 on the league lap, about to be 31 with Jared Knight about to put a lap on Wood, but that will obviously balance out nicely when Knighty comes to pit road. Knighty's on lap 19 and yet to stop. Surely that critical number is not too far away.
But Hayes is probably fighting for podium. I'm not sure he's going to get the win. I think Oscar Hayes is probably looking to fight for the win at the moment. He's got a big gap over Johnny Merritt. So I think that's where the he got past Benays earlier on the race, and while we're looking at other battles, he just pulled a gap that we haven't really noticed in the background here, and it's going to come to be very handy in the back half of this race.
Good news as well, too, ladies and gentlemen, from Roland Garros. Alex de Minaur is on the court. Better news, after some questionable scheduling from the network, the 9 network is taking that match, and we'll show it through to its completion. Kai Ardley! Oh dear! And who did he come together with more to the point? Oh, Sergey. Oh. Look. Yeah.
That's a bit of the pit exit here, and neither of them want to get yield.
That Ardley I think Ardley thought that he might have had him already covered off, and that's why he's moved across just a bit too quickly there.
It's just a matter of the way the pit exit is, and neither of them wanted to yield, so 2 into 1 did not go.
No. Looking all the way down to everyone down to Jonathan Hooper in 34th now is on the lead lap with the field cleansed with Jared Knight on pit road and off again. Knight resumes in second, Merritt third,
7.5 seconds.
Dench is fifth. Dench has punched out the fastest lap of the race, 1:18.952. But Oscar Haynes, as Adam Lavis quite rightly said, 7.6 seconds to the good. That's ridiculous.
It was pacing that first stint. We just didn't notice. We didn't notice the gap because his stop was around the same as everyone else. 11.8 second stop. Jared saving the fuel got to a 10.7, but everyone else is doing 11 to 13 second stops, except for Burhop. Burhop may be in trouble. He only put 5 seconds of fuel in.
Copy. Hoping to save all the way home, maybe. I mean, the fact that Denchi was stationary for 13.1 says everything to me. And have a look at him now, all over the back of Bernays like a cheap suit. Dench down the inside. Dench going to 4th. Bernays yields and lets him through. Concedes defeat on that contest. Denchi up to 4th. Next target, John Merritt, 1.5 seconds up the road. I tell you what, if those two get together and put on a show, we're in for a treat. Joe Baldwin's here with 7 laps to go, which, I mean, is about 3 laps to go in the other split because they're 5 minutes ahead. What happened, Trucker?
Hey, look, that was having a cracking race. Started 12th, got up to 4th, and then it just all unravelled from there. Just sort of got bottled up behind the car and stabbed the brakes so I didn't make contact, spun, and it just went on from there. And then, incident points and slow downs, and I just thought I'd come in and have a chat to you, fine fellow. Great racing here by the look of it. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, we spoke too soon. Now, final minute of regular time at Accor Stadium. The Matildas up 2-0, so it looks as though they've got the job done on China tonight. It was always going to be interesting without Sam Kerr to see how they fare here, and then of course it's even going to be even more interesting when they get over to Paris, how they're going to go in the Olympics minus Sam Kerr, a superstar for the Aussies. Alex de Minaur on court at the French Open. I'll give you an update from there shortly. I don't know where to look tonight. There's that much sport going on, as well as what we're bringing you here. The best of the business in the virtual world of motorsport. Flying played at Road Atlanta. Trucker.
Yeah, we're certainly getting into the sporty time of the 4-year calendar, aren't we?
We will,
So,
mate.
got some great stuff coming
I don't
in.
think I'm going to sleep for 3 weeks. It's going to be fantastic. Have a look at Denchi. Denchi punches out at 1:18.87. No one else has been in the 18s yet tonight.
Damn far. How warm's the server here in this one, guys?
Slightly cooler than yours, but that wouldn't be hard. 35 degrees the track and 30 the ambient. Have a look at that too, by the way. With a very nice good evening to our friends in Queensland and Western Australia, and even the Northern Territory. Broad daylight, 7:30 in the evening. progressive
That's a wonderful
civilized
thing.
concept known as daylight saving over there in the United States at this time of the year. Just quietly, ladies and gentlemen. 4 minutes of stoppage time for the Matildas. And then, of course, have you been paying attention to follow on the network around Australia on Network 10, except in Western Australia where the game's screening on 10 volts. So a big Monday night ahead. In the meantime, down the inside, Bernays has been relegated to 6th by Benny Woods on the inside. So Porsche, 2 Ferraris, 2 Audis, Ferrari, Lambo, Muir down the inside, squeezing into the final corner. Very nicely done. There's the BMW of Feng Wong wanting a piece of it as well. Can Feng Wong get down the inside to go to 7th and 1? Yes, he can. Off goes Jared Knight. Knighty's gone off the road.
Oh, David's back up around.
And Dench will go to 3rd. They're into 2nd. On that note, what on earth has happened to Jared Knight? Let's have a look at it. Turn 1 claims another one. Oh, the only foot Knighty's put wrong all night. Off the road and gone.
That was a carbon copy of what brought me undone.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
how
so
often
easy
does it
to
happen,
do.
John?
Sorry?
How often does it happen here? Turn 1 always seems to trip them up.
Yeah, you've only got to carry just that little bit too much speed, and you miss your turn in or your apex. Oh, that's another common one for Brooksy. And it's just so easy to do. Once you get out there, you've got to play the preservation game. If you know you're going off, you've got to try and sort of almost straighten the car up and then give it a bit of a flick just before you get to the grass to try and make sure your trajectory is a little bit tighter so you don't reach the wall as you go off there. Very, very tricky part of the circuit.
It's an angry pack back here.
Very rewarding if you're right.
As we thought, Burhop's in the lane. He's short field himself.
I thought he might have.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Disaster for Adam Burhop. Where's Graham Stewart when you need someone to fire off a sledge in the Adam Burhop direction? I reckon Burhop's going to be hearing about that one for a while. Oh boy!
So what was the
thing trying to hold onto a top 10 spot? Thomas Foster trying to displace him.
Did the track temperature come down for your second race there, Joe?
It did, mate. Yeah. We were at about 36 degrees, I think, at the start of the race, and dropped down incident points for Burhop.
Okay, clear that.
He had a drive-through, same as myself.
I think fuel's also his issue. Yeah, he put half the fuel as everyone else in. Actually, half to a third of what everyone else put in.
Oh, yeah, no, that's never going to work. Yeah, so, no, I think it has come down. I think it's about 35 degrees, depending on the altitude, but about 36.5 degrees when we went green. But it made for a really, really different race, like the way the race played out at the start of race 2 versus race 1, just with the fact that we were, I think, 56 degrees or 57 degree track temperature at the start of race 1, and it was just wild. There was no, compared to qualifying, there was no traction, and guys were just going off everywhere.
You know, we can see, like, on the broadcast, we had heat haze just from the track.
Yes. Yeah, it was very, very slippery. I haven't driven on a track that hot for a long, long time in anything, and yeah, I think it caught a lot of the guys out with it being so hot. But that's what you want. Like, we've had rain, we've had great weather. Now you've got a hot track, and it's something you want to, there's a big, wide availability of weather conditions for the guys. As Chook's all over, Dave, coming down here to the right-hander. This corner right here, I think, guys, is probably the most important corner to set up a pass at the other end of the straight, and the BMWs just get off that corner so much better than everything else. They're very, very hard to catch down the straight, but yeah, it makes for great racing here and a good gamut of weather conditions.
Indeed. The final few stages here. 25 of 27, 2 laps to go for Oscar Haynes, who leads by 8.8 seconds. But have a look at this. Feng Wong all over the back of Bernays to the outside. Muir's all over the back of Woods as well. Knight and Dench have got John Merritt under the pump here as well. Battles left, right and centre in the top 10, just the way you like it. Ben Woods defending from Sam Muir. Matildas win 2-0 at a Core Stadium. Uh-oh.
Pull it up, pull it up.
Again. Uh-oh.
Oh, pinch the rears.
Into the gravel.
I know how he feels.
That just makes the night go from bad to worse for him. David Johnson, former El Presidente. Oh, caught the inside of the curb, bang into the wall. Goes the Porsche.
What's on?
Dench to the outside of Merritt on the run down to the final chicane. They go left, they go right. Denchy got a touch from the rear of Merritt, who got across to cover him off. White flag in the air. Dench under pressure from Knight here as well. A last lap thriller between some of the best in the business. Let's do it one more time around. Up the outside goes Jared Knight. Commitment plus around
he's got
the
him.
outside.
Oh,
He can't pull it
wow.
off and pull it up. Jared Knight to third. What a move on Matthew Dench. What about that? And Knighty would have been a little bit skeptical, a little bit potentially, right, a little bit hesitant about going up the outside into that part of the course again after how it turned out for him earlier in the piece when he was in the grass and surrendered second and third. But what a way to bounce back and restore confidence. To go back into position number 3. In the meantime, Oscar Haynes. Oh,
He's pulled it out, 9.5 seconds. He's actually driven away from John Merritt.
get your hands out and smash them together, ladies and gentlemen, for one of the young, up-and-coming rising stars on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Haynes too good in race 2 of round 8 of Waste Options GT3 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Isn't he happy about it? John Merritt holds off Jared Knight and Matthew Dench.
There goes the
Knight
zero,
is
it's
beat
bonus.
Denchy
No, he's after the line.
at his own game.
After the line, okay.
Knighty beats Denchy at his own game. How about that? Dench
Oh,
is
it's not
fourth,
back in.
but we'll still have the championship lead.
Oh,
Have a look
still
at
on.
this. That's Dane Snadden in the fight for 20th. And still the passing manoeuvres unfolding on the way to the line.
Oh, photo finish.
Photo finish for 23rd, I think it was.
Who was it
Yep.
that just ducked into the pits then? Were they a lap
Andrew
down?
Neil,
Or?
Andrew Neil's on pit road from 21st, so I don't know if he realises that he's going to get pinged for that. Glenn Wilkinson and Greg Heaney there for the beneficiaries. Greg Heaney, of course, was the one that missed out in the photo there with Glenn Wilkinson. That was for 22nd, 23rd. And then Adam Chiplin, Fred Kahn, Paul Wood, Jordan Malcolm, Parry Anastakis, Glenn Arnott, Colby Callum, they're still coming home. Jonathan Hooper and Sean Benici. Whew. In total, gentlemen, in total, 34 finishes in all of that. Actually, William Yarwood does get classified at 35, but he was 6 laps down, but he's okay on 75%. I reckon he's got that covered by the skin of his teeth. Let me have a look at this. Okay, Kurt Nomenson's going to come and have a chat to us very shortly, but he's currently talking to Race Control. Thanks for the heads up, mate. There are the results for you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try and pick that apart. Haynes, Merritt, Knight, Dench, Woods, Muir, Fung Wong, Bernays, Ardley, King, the top 10. Thomas Foster up 14 spots in 11th. Sergey in for 12th, and Nick Wood. Jeff Adams up 17 spots, Ryan Mulder 12, and Jake Jackson 23, 14th, 15th, and 16th respectively. Matt Schmidtke, Michael Edwards, Dane Stadden, David Johnson the 20. Andrew Neil up 12 spots, but I think iRacing might just boot him for that. Yep,
He's
down to
29th.
29th. There it is. He's been, yep, down to 29th. So Glenn Wilkinson, Greg Heaney, Adam Chiplin, Fred Kahn, Paul Wood, Parry Anastakis, Glenn Arnott, Coley Callum, all beneficiaries of that. Then Jonathan Hooper in 30th. Sean Benici and Jordan Malcolm with Daniel Piper a lap down, Adam Burhop 2 laps down, and William Yarwood 6 laps down, rounding out those that saw the checkered flag. I don't think Greg Brooks gets classified because of the fact that he only made it through 20 of those 27 laps, but I'm happy to be proven wrong, and I'll do some calculations in just a moment. GT3 AM feature results. Dimitri Agathos on top, if you don't mind. Aaron Russell slipped out of 14th in all of that. Brad Coates second, Ben Lavender, Tim Weston rather, Dale Sharp, Ryan Howe, Stephen Gallacher, Jermaine Takalu, Tim Fuge, and Adam Bryant. Now, if you didn't think it was bad enough that we had a Dane Snadden and a Daniel Snedden, we've now also got a Tim Weston and a Tim Watson. We're going good, aren't we? We are fantastic. So Sean Benici was on dad duties. That's why he missed the start. And yes, we hope you've enjoyed what was a very entertaining race here at Road Atlanta. Oh, geez. Greg Heaney was right in the thick of it. What'd you make of that?
That was good fun. Setup was probably a little bit draggy on the car, but at least it stuck where I wanted it to stick. And yeah, it cost me a little bit of straight line speed, but certainly had a few good little battles here and there. Start of race 2 was a bit, how's your father? Because we had a starter on the grid that didn't start, and then decided to disconnect before everybody got past him. So yeah, unlucky to Fred on race 2. He tried to bite up a little bit too much curb and it spat him out the other side. So, but no, well done to the rest of the boys for getting it up there and gaining some spots. And yeah, unlucky for Andrew Neal copping the drive-through at the end. He did go through the pits post-race, but it's obviously still stung him a little bit.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't pit on the white flag lap. It won't let you. You got to pit before. You got to pit the lap the white flag comes out, not the checkered flag lap. Otherwise, it still gives you the penalty.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he copped it already on the last lap, so he's already stuffed.
Yeah, and sometimes even if you get it beforehand, it's like sometimes depending on the track, sometimes you're better off taking the racing one. Sometimes you're better off taking the drive-through. It depends on what penalty you got.
Yeah.
Just going to jump in there for a moment, fellas. Give you good news for William Yarwood. 20.25 was how many laps you had to complete to get 75% out of 27 laps. So good news for him, but bad news for Greg Brooks, who only completed 20. So from 36th down, you're looking at not classifieds and DNFs and DNSs as well. But, I mean, still, to get 35 to the finish out of 42 in that carnage, magnificent work from all and sundry. I've got Kai Ardley about to join us. We've got Jared Knight and John Merritt here. Hopefully Trucker Joe Baldwin will grace us with his presence again a little bit later on. He's down, I think, in race control, having a chat to Kurt Nomenson and Sam Stride at the moment. We've got Greg Heaney here. We've got John Merritt. We've got Kai Ardley and Jared Knight. Zach Cabe and Adam Lavis with you. Monday night motorsport platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Race 2 at an end for round 8 of Waste Options GT3. Greg, not too bad a night. I mean, Ryan Mulder home in 15th, up 12 spots. Matt Schmidtke up 6 spots. Obviously, as we've already detailed, Andrew Neal got stung, but for you, up 2 spots now into 22nd. So, I mean, obviously, it's unfortunate, as you already detailed, to have a couple of people tripping you up at the start, not getting to the line cleanly, not getting to the green flag cleanly. Everybody feels the wrath of that, don't they?
Oh yeah, I mean it was pretty much everybody left-hand side of the starting grid on the back straight was, I think it was 3 cars in front of me back was stuck, and then everybody on the right-hand side managed to get going. And look, it is what it is. I think it was Jonathan Hooper, maybe. I'm not too sure. I know it was a Porsche. That probably didn't start, so obviously not proper German engineering because it didn't kick over. But we'll leave it at that. But yeah, no, look, I'm happy with the tonight. Double points finish. I think at 25th, and as you said, 22nd in this race. So I'm pretty sure the points go that far down. So look, I mean, points are points. Bring on the Corvette in 2 weeks.
Bring on the Corvette, indeed. We're very excited about what might unfold there. Of course, you won't get a chance to run that in this championship until the start of Term 3, mate. But obviously, it'll drop tomorrow night. You must be looking forward to doing some laps in it between now and the end of the season to be familiar with it and up to speed with it by the time we get to Term 3 on July 8th.
Oh, most definitely. and sorting out some liveries and stuff. I think half the boys have already decided they're going to drive that, or they're going to drive the Mustang GT. So I've got to sort some liveries out. I think Andrew Neal's already thrown his hand up and said, I'll give you a chop out, and I'll do the one for the Mustang, and so at least that's out. But yeah, it's going to be good. I did watch iRacing's teaser of the new Corvette. It sounds absolutely amazing. So I'm just hoping it's good to drive.
Absolutely. We'll get back to that in a moment. Can I just say to David Johnson, look, I understand your frustration, mate, but like Oran Park, Road Atlanta will live on in the virtual world. So even if there was to be a housing estate built at this circuit, we can still go racing here. I understand your frustration, but yes, maybe just a little bit misdirected. Greg, what else are you looking forward to with regards to the big content drop tomorrow night?
Whatever was teased about the Australian contingent, because we haven't really seen a lot on that. So I know they teased that they had a little bit more Australian content coming. Haven't really said much else about it, so it'll be interesting to see what drops for that.
Indeed. A lot of speculation that it could be Gen 3, the new Gen supercars, or maybe they've got a surprise track up their sleeve. I'm not sure. I haven't seen too much from iRacing in recent days.
Could be Adelaide too.
It could be. Yeah. I know there was a lot of speculation that was rife about the Bend. But I reckon a lot of people would be happier if it was the Adelaide Parkland Street Circuit. No doubt about that. Now the rest of the week. Obviously, we'll see you on Thursday night. Let's talk about the rest of the season here in GT3, though. Firstly, we've done away with sprint rounds, mate, but the field, the size of the grids is here to stay. Algarve for 60 minutes next week is going to be very challenging.
Yeah, it is. I did some practice around Algarve. I think it might have been the week after the rain update dropped in the Lamborghini, so I kind of have some idea of how it drives, but whether we do or don't have rain, who knows? Probably more likely to have rain in Portimao than in the middle of America at this point in time, but who knows what the weather gods come up with. And then, yeah, definitely Road America is going to be a good one as well, especially with the larger fields. It's going to make for some very interesting racing, I reckon.
I think you're right. I think we're all looking forward to it immensely. And Road America for 90 minutes, a nice way to finish off the campaign. I know there are others that would love to take us back to Mount Panorama, but we've already been there as far as this season is concerned. There hasn't been much said about new tracks that are dropping in the new content either. I mean, there's always speculation. But yes, we're going to have 2 new cars to play with next term. That's going to reinvent the wheel, but potentially new tracks as well, Greg. So there's always a great air of anticipation and excitement at this time of the campaign.
Oh, always. Now it just comes down to, well, okay, so the update drops, and now it's a matter of getting your head around the new cars, getting a feel for it, and then figuring out which direction you're going to head in. So.
Indeed. All right. Very nicely done, mate. Thank you to you and the rest of the stable for being part of the show tonight. Good luck for the rest of the week. We'll see you Thursday.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
Interesting championship, this one, because obviously we've had 4 sprint rounds at 4 very different racetracks, and now we go back to tidy up the third of the 60-minute races and the third of the 90-minute races as well. Alex de Minaur down 3-1 at the moment, but trying to at least hold his serve here at 40-15, and will hopefully do so, and does so. So 3-2, although Medvedev with the early break. He's playing Daniel Medvedev in round 4 of the French Open is Alex de Minaur at the moment. It's 5th seed versus 11th seed there at Roland Garros. You can watch it on 9Gem and also on Stan Sport. Matilda's getting up 2-0 as well. It's been a good night. Thank you to Greg Heaney. Let's press on. Paul Wood, you've just jumped into the booth. I might go to you first here. Let's get your take on the night that was. It was always going to be hectic out there with the amount of cars on the circuit. You managed to get 26th in the end in that second race after starting 38th. So I get I guess the first question is, what the hell happened in race 1? And B, what did you make of race 2?
Race 1, I was doing well. I think I was up to 18th spot or 17th spot from starting in the mid-20s somewhere, and my steering wheel decided to disconnect coming down the back straight for some reason, and I just went straight off into the wall. So that was that for the first race. I ended up in the pits with like 12 minutes of repairs, so ended up at the back. So second race I come out, and a little bit of a rub on the first corner on the second lap, so I got spun there. So I head down, tried to recover from there, and yeah, got caught up with someone else's incident later on, which spun me again. Got a little bit of damage, but again, not too bad. But yeah, just pitted straight away, filled up the car, and again, head down, bum up, and tried to get the best I could. But this season, I am definitely struggling in the GT3s, even swapping to the Fezzer from the Lambo. It's much better to drive, and I enjoy it much more, but still struggling to find any form of consistency or pace at the moment. So we'll see what the coming weeks bring.
Indeed. And I guess we haven't really spoken too much about what's ahead as far as you're concerned, mate, but let me get your thoughts. I mean, obviously you're sticking with the Ferrari at the moment, but there's a Corvette on the way, there's a Mustang on the way, there's new content, beyond that on the way, but let's focus on what's happening in GT3. Hugely exciting time for the category on this platform.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the Mustang, although I must say the Corvette does look like a really stunning looking car as well, so I'll be looking forward to doing some liveries up for both of those. I think there's interest for you drivers on the team, but I think initially for me, I'm going to love to give the old Mustang a go, and I have been a Ford man, grew up being a Ford man, so if I didn't, I think my father would disown me, so
true.
It sort of made the decision for me. So yeah, it's I would have stuck with the Lambo, and hopefully if the man above us allows us to incorporate the new GT3s from next week, it'd be really good. But yeah, it's I suppose we'll see next season how it goes, but I would have stuck with the Lambo if I could have gone to the Mustang. But yeah,
actually, to be fair, Woodsy, that's actually going to create an interesting dynamic in the next couple of weeks, isn't it? Because as we were just saying with Greg Heaney, we know that the decision's already been made at committee level. Adam Lavis revealed it earlier in the evening. But we're going to leave things as they are at the moment, status quo, with new cars to be implemented from the beginning of the next term, which is Monday, July 8th. We've already obviously touched on that tonight. But it gives you guys at least, what are we looking at? Almost 3 more weeks than usual. Nearly 4 weeks more than usual to get up to speed and do some testing in these, whilst also finishing off the GT3 campaign that's currently underway.
Well, for me, it'll just be I probably won't get much testing in other than trying to do the liveries for them. But yeah, I might try and get some time in our break to get some time in, because yeah, it'd definitely be fun. But like I said, I'm really intrigued with the Corvette. I really like the look of it, so don't be surprised if I do jump ship. But at the same time, the Mustang as well, they both look like really nice looking cars, so I think they'll be fun to drive as well, and hopefully they sound as good as they look, and I'll be really happy. So yeah, we'll see what next season brings. But yeah, for this season, I'll just try and keep working with the Ferrari, try and get a little more consistent, and yeah, looking forward to Road America. Should be a good round for the final round with a little bit longer time there, so I always do okay at the at Road America. It's just if I can keep the car straight and not do like I did last time in Loopit. So yeah, eyes forward, and let's see what we can do for the rest of the season.
All right, mate, very nicely done. Algarve next week. What are your thoughts on that before I let you go?
Oh, look, all I'll say is I'm glad I'm in the Ferrari and not in the Lambo still. This car definitely wants to turn a bit more, but it should be a fun track. I've enjoyed most of the races I've done there so far, but I think this will be my first one in the GT3. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it should be a fun track. Should hopefully make for some good racing, although from memory it's not the easiest track to get overtakes on. But again, it's just you've got to put down the strategy, and yeah, we'll see where we come out, and I'll continue. I've got some new hardware under the hood of the computer, so I'm still fine-tuning that, which I think is part of my problem of power issues cutting out on USBs, but I'll keep fine-tuning as well, and hopefully, again, everything comes smoothly, and yeah, the rest of the season's just testing for me, I suppose, for the next season.
All right, very nicely done. Now, as far as the rest of the week's concerned, when are you next back on track, please?
Wednesday for GT4s.
Excellent. Very nicely done. Not broadcast this week, but we wish you guys all the very best with that one. And obviously, Liam Banks and Daniel Correa will be back on deck to showcase the last 2 rounds of the championship. Go well, mate. Thanks for that.
No worries, thanks, guys.
There he is, Paul Wood for the Aussie Races stable, and that's growing quite beautifully as well. It's fair to say, like most of them, club actually growing from strength to strength and going gangbusters too in the middle of 2024. Jared Knight, John Merritt, coming to you in just a moment, boys. Really want to pick your brains on what we've just seen out there. But Kai Ardley, to you first. 12th in race 1, 9th in race 2. Good night out.
Yeah, hey Zach. Not a terrible night. I mean, I wish I had a little bit more pace, and pace came to me in the second race. I was hoping after the pit stop that I could hang with the guys that I was running with. I could have, if it wasn't for that incident that I had. Yeah, the car was a bit of a pig after that, so it was pretty tough to take on track. But it was a good race overall. Had some good battles with a couple of guys. The Ferrari seemed to have the straight line speed, which saved me, I think. I've got like no wing on it, so that makes sense. But yeah, good night overall.
Now, I was going to say, we've just had another Sergey like the stream up top, but it's a slightly different spelling to the one on the timing monitor. So I'm not sure if it's the same Sergey that was in the server or not. But good evening to you, and thanks for tuning in. And how good to have Austrian representation out there, as well as Greek and American, an all international flavour to Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Kai, welcome back, firstly, because we've had the pleasure of chatting to Ashton in recent weeks as well. But secondly, where the bloody hell have you been?
I don't know, I just haven't had the willingness to drive. I've just been a bit out of it, so I've done some practice and whatnot, but I haven't really done anything full on for 8 months or something. So just jumped back in, thought I'd do a race, and went okay. So a little bit more practice, I could probably hang with the guys up front, but for 40 minutes practice, I feel I did all right.
Absolutely. Now, very quickly, let's explore this here, because obviously, GT3, you've gone with the Ferrari. It seems to be pretty popular at the moment. I'll get your thoughts on obviously what's coming up in a few minutes, but yes, it is the same, Sergey. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. It's just there's 2 different spellings going on here, so you had me confused, mate. Thank you for the clarification on that. And I might actually have to have a chat to you at some point and just get some clarification on the pronunciation as well. In the meantime, Kai, sticking with you. Obviously, I'll ask you about Portimao and Road America in a moment if we're going to see you there. But secondly, I guess there's a lot happening in sim racing world at the moment. Did the I feel as though the Tempest weather system and all the hype around that probably brought a few people back to the platform. What was it that gave you the kick of momentum, the kick in the guts that you needed to get that sort of interest, that desire to get back in the cockpit again, please?
I think the weather did help at the start, but then after it was in, after like 2 weeks, everything was wet, so I was a bit annoyed, and I just didn't drive.
I think we overdid a good thing there.
Yeah, I was a bit sick of it. But Ashton jumped in a couple of these races, and I thought, why not? He said he wasn't going to do tonight, so I was on short notice. So I just jumped in and thought maybe it'll be okay. It was good fun. So yeah, there was nothing really, no particular thing that got me back in the seat. It's just wanted to have some sort of race, some competitive race, which you can't get in officials at the moment because there's too many series and the fields are too diluted. Yes. So yeah, it was good to get back out there like a 45 car grid or whatever it was. So yeah, good fun battling out with heaps of people.
I'll get to that in a second, because I think we've got a similar problem in the real world. I mean, you look at what's going on in Australian motorsport at the moment. I mean, there's a big emphasis on quality over quantity, but again, yes, I think we can very much be accused of having too much of a good thing, trying to have too many categories on too many circuits at the same time. And I don't think the competitor base is there to back that up just quietly. I think we need to just trim a couple here and there, trim a couple of corners, and then try and boost the numbers back up. I think, as you say, sim racing's going through the same problem. We've got too much of a good thing, so there's a saturation of it, and therefore, as a result, you end up with slightly fewer bums on seats in any given server. And from a spectacle standpoint, 46 always looks better than 15, even if 15 puts on a good show. I get exactly where you're coming from, and it's an ongoing issue. And it's something that we probably need to address both sides of the fence, virtual and real. David Johnson, thank you. We'll get to him in just a moment. I'm getting the wind up from the former El Presidente. How about that? Now, Kai, three questions before I let you go, mate. Actually, no, there's probably more than that, but let's start with the obvious one. When you talk about Ashton not having a run, am I of the belief here that there's only one sim rig in the Ardley household stable at the moment?
Oh, there's always been one, so it's a bit of a pick and choose thing. Negotiate what you do and stick with it.
So as a result of that, now that there's very much interest from both sides of the fence there, I reckon there might be some discussions had about what your Christmas presents look like this year, just so that you can both have a crack at the same time. That'd take sibling rivalry to a whole new level.
Yeah, it would. I don't know about a whole new sim rig. I don't think Mum would be happy about that. But
No,
you know, it's not out of the question, but it's not likely.
No. How much room have you got, or not enough is probably the answer. Now, what are your thoughts on, as you say, you're racing in a field of 40 odd. It was good fun. It was hectic. There was plenty to talk about in central commentary. How'd you enjoy that intensity for that 2-race program tonight?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I did the GT3s, I think it was 3 years ago now. I had a good run in the Lambo when that came out, and it was just like I remember it, you know, constantly having someone on your tail and hunting someone down at the same time. So you're really wary about what you're doing, and you get pushed into a couple of mistakes and you push some others into some. It's good fun being out there and having some proper competition for once.
Now, yes, gotta love Jono and Nighty going at it on the same chat thread, please, and I appreciate Nighty and John Merritt's patience here, just quietly. To finish with you, Kai Ardley, if we don't see Ashton in the server next week, do we see you for Portimao or Road America?
I probably won't do those two tracks. Not a huge fan. I thought Road Atlanta's a pretty good track, so I'll jump out there. But Road America and Portimao, I'll pass. They're a bit boring.
Okay, fair enough. And that right there highlights or illustrates a very important point, ladies and gentlemen. Not every track is to every driver's liking. Not every track is to every car's liking, particularly in a multi-manufacturer format like this. So that really sets us up nicely for what's to come. Everybody's got their fancy. Corvette, Mustang, they're both dropping. As a guy that's, as you say, driven the Lambo, driven the Ferrari, are you going to take any interest in those two cars?
Yeah, I think I'll get the Mustang. I'll pass on the Corvette. I hate the GTE. I think it's oversteery and understeery at the same time. That's just horrid. So I think I'll get the Mustang, but I'll steer clear of that Corvette, I'm pretty sure.
All right, very nicely done. Just updating you here, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Medvedev serving at 4-3 with the advantage, so about to go 5-3. And Demonor will serve to stay in the first set. Big night of sport, as I said. It's a great night of sport. It's a great time of the year to be a sports fan. And what about anything else as far as sim racing is concerned, mate? If it's not GT3, what else is going to tickle your fancy to get back into this on a slightly more regular basis?
Well, I saw that there's a TCR race on Wednesday, so I think I'll jump out there and try and get some more door banging like I did a few years back, because that was pretty enjoyable. If I could get that again, that'd be good. Maybe some old rivals can come back out for a play. But yeah, regardless, I'll jump out
with the silent memo to Summit SimSport on that one-liner from Kyle.
Yeah. I mean, I've cleaned up my driving a little bit since, so I think it should be good fun.
I love the TCRs. We'll get to that very shortly. Hey, mates, I'm going to rock and roll from here because we've got Nicey and Johnny Merritt standing by. But great to hear from you. Great to have you back on the platforms of the GSRC and netting a good result. Go well for the rest of the week and we'll catch up.
Yeah, thanks, Zach and Adam, for the great broadcast. See you guys.
And there he is. Great to catch up. Ardley by 2 at the moment. We've got Ashton here on odd weeks and Kai on even weeks, it would seem. Right, the people demand Jared Knight. and they can keep demanding him all they like because I want to chat to Johnny Merritt first. No, I want to talk to both of you simultaneously, actually, because Jared Knight, firstly, let's start with you. Well done. Up 4 spots on where you started, so that's a 4th in race 1, a 3rd in race 2, given that you started 7th in race 2 there. That's a very respectable night out, and it keeps you in the hunt for the championship fight here, which is alive and well, especially in the absence of Richard Mitchell.
Yeah, I'm very happy with a 4th and a 3rd tonight. Yeah, 0 practice coming in, given that we're spending all our time and effort prepping for Majors 24 next week. But yeah, had 0 tyre management all night. Congrats to Oscar too. That was a mega drive in the race too. He spanked it. So yeah, it didn't seem to have the tyres underneath me for both races. So yeah, just made a few mistakes that probably cost me a couple of positions. But all in all, yeah, it wasn't a terrible night.
No, it wasn't at all. 2 moments that I want to focus on for you. I mean, obviously, invert races haven't always been to the fancy of both you or the guy on screen there behind you, Matty Dench. He spent a lot of the night boxed in down there outside the top 10, pitted to get some clear air, did that, comes out behind you and John Merritt. And then this moment, Adam Lavis saw exactly where I was going. This moment at turn 1, saw you plummet down to 4th in behind them, but what a way to redeem yourself by committing to the outside at 1 to get by Denchy in the closing stages, mate.
Yeah, it's a bit rare when you coming into this move here. It's a bit rare when you sort of mid-corner and you kind of understand what the other guy's thinking. Right about here, I'm thinking, oh yeah, Denchy's thinking championship here. He was very, very kind to me. Could have lent on me a lot more, and he was kind enough to tuck in behind and give me the spot. So yeah, gave me a couple extra points and keeps this championship hunt a little bit alive. He's stretching the gap ever so slightly, but we're still within fight.
Well, I reckon you'll find that he probably still managed to win the round tonight, which is a fair achievement from him. Let's be perfectly honest. I mean, for you now, with Richard Mitchum not on the grid tonight, that probably does you a couple of favours, but at the same time, you can't be thinking about his absence, can you? You've got to focus on still getting to the finish line, still bagging those results, still maintaining that consistency, mate.
Yeah, especially after last week's efforts, far out. Yeah, that was an absolute shocker last week.
Where were we again? Oh, that's right, Suzuka.
Yeah. We won't talk about that very much.
No.
Yeah, I actually didn't feel like I had terrible speed there. I actually sort of felt a little bit of comfort around there, and yeah, just got turned in race 1, and that ended that race, and yeah, just could not get back through the field in race 2. It was just so hard to pass. So yeah, we just had to consolidate some points tonight and not be too aggressive.
Come on, be a good sport from Tom Foster. So you're getting sledged from everyone at the moment.
Mate, everyone's on me tonight.
Oh, everyone's having a crack at Jared.
Even my own teammates.
I know. With mates like that, you don't need enemies. There's no doubt about that. Hey, talk to me about a couple of things here, because obviously we're very excited about what's to come with the Corvette and the Mustang. But more importantly, let's focus on Portimao. What are your thoughts there? How are you feeling about that circuit and this car? Because, I mean, it's a different kettle of fish to tonight. Tonight was invert racing, final time we had to deal with that in this championship season. Now it's all eyes forward on those longer races, mate, and we know that you've got good pace there.
Yeah, Portimao's a bit of an unknown next week. I do have the track, but I've done maybe three or four laps in it during week 13 when it come out. Haven't touched it since, so don't really know what to expect with this car, and No, I had a quick look at the server settings whilst Greg was talking about them, and I don't think there's any rain due for it. So I think we should be in the clear there for 60 minutes of dry running. So yeah, should keep it nice and clean.
I'm not going to lie, I'm happy for rain in the grand finale at Road America because I reckon the rain spiced things up nicely when we first had it at Spa at the end of the last term. I'm all for rain when we get the Road America at Lake Wisconsin. Now, Nighty, talk to me about a couple of other things here, like managing tonight, because a lot of you guys opted to run long. You ran longer than anybody. Was that a strategic decision on your part, or were you happy to just go with the flow and adapt as you had to throughout the course of that longer race?
I could see Oscar making his way through, and then he sort of sat behind David here for a little bit, so it wasn't too. I was happy to sort of sit behind, and I think John was as well, just saving some fuel here, and I thought I was saving tyres, but pleasantly surprised that I had no tyres when I come out from the stop. But yeah, we obviously just let Oscar skip away a bit too far, and yeah, that tyre wear on the Porsche tonight was just non-existent. He just ran a hot pace all night. Yeah, no one had anything for him.
Speaking of running at a hot pace, I just want to get this out of my system while I'm on air, ladies and gentlemen. What about the French Open, right? What about Emily Mauresmo, former great tennis player from that part of the world, now the tournament director there, saying, look, because of a few rowdy French, we're going to ban alcohol in the stands. You can all get stuffed. You can have water. We talk about it being un-Australian, but it's un-French as well. They love a bottle of Ponk more than anyone. I'm not sure what's going on there. Put Roland Garros on the never to tour again list. It's bad enough that I have to pay $14 for a Canadian club at the Australian Open, but I'm not going all the way to France not to have one, I can tell you that much. Hey, we've got Kurt Nomenson standing by here as well as John Merritt. Stay with me, Nighty. I'm coming back to you in a second. Johnny, well done, mate. Strong performance. Started ninth, finished second, so that's 2 seconds for the night. Really solid hit out for you, and nice to see you back in the GT3 as well, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. No, it was a bit of fun. Good field, solid field. So yeah, I think Denchi probably had the ultimate pace, but had a little bit of a bust up early in that second race. So gave Oscar an opportunity, but as Jared said, he had mega pace and sort of drove away from us.
And he also, I guess, had the run of the mill with regards to he managed to weave his way through the field just a little bit quicker than you blokes, and then just put the foot down and went for it. You guys were still trying to get through traffic, and all of a sudden he's got 3 seconds on you when you come to the pit stop, and then we turn around twice, blink once, and he's got 8 seconds on you and maintained it.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks. It's obviously pretty hard to overtake, but even if you've got a little bit more pace, it's pretty difficult to use. So I, as Jared probably did, decide to save a little bit of fuel, and similarly thought I'd save a little bit of tyre, but didn't work out quite that way.
No, it certainly did not. From your standpoint, though, must be nice to get back in the rig and be consistent, mate. I mean, we've missed having you around on a regular basis this term.
Yeah, too many engagements and some trips and time away. So sadly, haven't done as much racing as I'd enjoy, and Mondays sort of alternate with another league. So was able to have a crack tonight, and sort of came in and given my situation, was happy to sort of drive any car pretty much, but I'm pretty comfy with the fares, and was able to do just a couple of laps prior, and tried to tune it up for race 2, and I think I went the wrong way. So
yeah. But what about you had to get a little bit of the elbow out there in the end to defend Matty Dench, mate. That was pretty fiercely fought, I thought.
Always thoroughly enjoy racing him. So, mate, he had a little bit more pace than me. I couldn't get onto the back straight there, and I was probably quicker up, probably quicker out of turn 1 sort of in that tight section, but he was quicker from anywhere the back straight down, so I couldn't get up the hill or onto the back straight, sadly. But enjoyable and mate, always encouraging to be that close to Denchi. I actually lost the batteries in my headset in race 1, so I had to sort of give up any pushing and change a battery mid-race.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
That always makes for fun. Always makes for a fun night.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on the fly, trying to navigate your way through or troubleshoot your way through. Now, I'll bring Nighty back in at this point in time, because you two blokes have been here long enough. You've seen the club at its peak, you've seen the rise, you've seen the fall. But it seems as though GT3 racing's on an upward trajectory again for some reason. I can't recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't call a season, especially since we've gone back to some form of normality, where the two servers have been so deeply stacked at this point of the season. Normally we see an enormous drop-off, but to have 40 on the grid in round 8, that's unprecedented.
Yeah, I think...
Oh, so you go, John.
Yeah, definitely 40 on the grid at especially at Road Atlanta. It's probably not everyone's track, so that probably suggests that the depth of the club and the growing of the class and a lot of new members, which is encouraging.
Indeed it is, and hopefully a sign of things to come for next term, because like the Tempest weather system brought a few people back to the grid, just because of the novelty of it and the reinvention of the wheel. I feel as though GT3's in for a new lease of life next week, boys. We won't see it, of course, until the start of Term 3, but what are your initial thoughts on Corvette and Mustang? I must say, I'm excited, not necessarily because it means that we're probably going to have a monopoly of Corvettes and Mustangs on the grid next season, but just because it's something different. We haven't had that for a while. John?
Yeah, I think we'll see another growth in the class, and those that sporadically run it will jump in and drive the new cars. So, I think it'll add to the flavour and certainly add to the grids. And mate, I think they'll be in my basket once they come out. So, I reckon we'll see a field of Ford VGM.
Yep, it'll be like watching supercars. For some reason, I don't know why. And as far as you're concerned, Nutty, what's your take on what's ahead?
I haven't put too much thought into the new cars at this point, but I guess we'll probably get some testing in once they come out for the new season. But I guess sort of hand in hand with the field being stacked across the club, it's also a decent spread of make of car as well. It's we're not sort of seeing a hodgepodge of one make like it was a couple of seasons back. I think when the Porsche come out, there was Porsche Cup on Mondays and Thursdays. So
true. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it sort of says a lot about the bop that iRacing's got, and hopefully when they're released, they don't sort of make the two new ones OP, and they still keep these older specs in play.
Joe Baldwin has already departed, but I feel as though there'll be a Mountain Men GT3 night dedicated only to those two newbies in due course. I'd almost bet the house on it. It's not my house, but I'd bet it anyway. Because obviously being the flavour of the month, why not try and cash in on that and give everybody a little bit more seat time? Now, as far as next week's concerned, I don't think we'll get to see you, John. As you say, you've got commitments, every fortnight on the Monday night. Will we see you by any chance for Road America? And what about V's on Thursday, please?
Yeah, I'll try and make Road America, and definitely come along with the V's. Got to support the team. So
how good are they going at the moment? And nice to see you back on the grid last week, by the way.
Yeah, no, they're going fantastic. So it's my turn to play rear gunner. So happy to do so.
Did they pick up the tricks of the trade to Formula V from you?
Oh well, I just reckon it's all the extra laps. You know, I mean, Tony Baker sort of consistently top 5, and mate, Cito's always had the pace, so it's just a matter of application, the amount of laps he does, really.
Indeed. A little bit of news for you from Roland Garros. Unfortunately, Alex de Minaur having lost his serve early in the first set, dropped the first 6-4, but is about to go 1-love up in the first game of the second set. So that game continues on 9 Gem Stand Sport through to its completion. Let's hope the Demon can match the measure of Daniil Medvedev and knock him out. That would be a big upset, and it would be a quarterfinal berth for the Demon. It's been a while since we've seen an Aussie go that deep into the French Open, it's fair to say. Let's ask you one more question, boys, and then I'll bring Kurt Nomenson in. As far as the rest of the content's concerned, we're all going to see it tomorrow night. We're all going to read about it on Wednesday, what's been dropped, what's coming in. I mean, obviously a big emphasis has been placed on what's going to happen for GT3. But is there anything else on your wish list tomorrow night, John?
Oh, mate, just more Aussie track content. You know, if that comes, I'll be pretty excited. It'd be nice to see the Gen 3 supercars as well, but it's been pretty quiet, so I'm not too sure about that. There hasn't been any leaks or anything, so
no.
It'd be nice to see Adelaide join the calendar.
They were, I was going to say, they've been very sheepish this time around about their content. Normally they're teasing stuff by now, but they've been so busy showing replays and live coverage of their iRacing Indy 500 over the weekend that it might have just slipped their mind. It'll be interesting to see what happens when the update drops tomorrow night. 90. Sorry, John, finish.
I was going to say one other wish list is bring the new Macca.
Yeah, okay. Not asking for much there, John. I mean, they're already dropping 2 new GT3 cars.
Nothing like a good flamethrower.
Exactly. 90.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have forgotten that Pukekohe was scanned a while back. So
true.
I'm thinking that's probably going to be on the list come tomorrow night. I think.
I'm all for it.
Surely that's ready to go. So that might be the Australian New Zealand flavour that they're sort of teasing. I can't really imagine anything else would be. Yeah, it's a great little track. So, yeah, but beyond that, like, haven't heard any whispers of any other Aussie tracks being scanned over the past sort of 6 to 12 months. So
no.
Yeah, I think realistically it's probably going to be Pukekohe, and then if they're all set on the Gen 3, it might be the Gen 3, but who knows.
As long as a traditionalist of the Pukekohe circuit, as long as they give you the option to run with or without the chicane. To be fair, because I think the Formula Vs don't need the chicane. I mean, other categories might benefit from it, but I don't think the Vs need the chicane. So if Pukekohe is what's coming tomorrow night, I'm all for it. And I reckon a GT3 round there next season is well on the cards if that's the case. Very nicely done, gents. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well done. And look forward to catching up with you later in the week or next week.
Cheers, Zach. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers, Zach.
All right. Last but not least, and he said he was going to drop on by. He had to make a detour on the way to the commentary box, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt Nomenson, good evening to you once more. Talk us through your night, please.
Yeah. Well, the GT3 didn't go as planned. Getting turned before the start in the first one put me further back.
That was in the AM split, just for clarification to everybody that's just tuning in. Kurt, of course, was in the AM split. Second race won by Dimitri Agathos. First race won by Aaron Russell. But yes, we were surprised by that as well, because it looked like you had nowhere to go when Neil Gladwin caught the bump on the run down the hill, mate.
Yeah. From my cockpit, it actually looked like he just punted the side of my car, not even the front of it. So unfortunate, but just put me in the back for the second race and got caught up in a bunch of silly incidents and got a drive through, but still managed to make my way forward a little bit, so I can't complain too much. I had pace. I just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time a few times.
And that makes it difficult too, mate, doesn't it? When you get caught up in incidents, those incident points that you've got there as your nest egg, they evaporate pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the second race I got 12x from people just punting into me, so
Oh,
wasn't the greatest night for me. But
no, not at all. Onwards and upwards to next week, mate. What were you able to do in race 2, if you don't mind me asking? Because obviously we saw race 1, we didn't see race 2.
yeah, let me just grab the the results because I don't remember exactly where I finished. It's a bit of a all over the place for the feature. I got from 26th to 19th, so I didn't do too bad, even with the drive-through penalty.
Yep. Yeah. Not bad at all.
Not too much.
Especially given the size of the fields at the moment. I mean, you would have heard what Jared and John were saying. The grids are enormous at this point of the season.
Yeah, we still had like 34 people on track for the AM split, so I wasn't last, so I'm not too upset to start, 26th. I wasn't end of the grid, but
no.
To make up positions and finish roughly middle of the pack, even after a drive-through penalty, is pretty damn good for a night. Wasn't too upset about all that.
Yeah, no, very respectable result, mate. Well done. Look, next week, Portimao, what are your thoughts on that? And also, how much are you looking forward to this new content that's coming tomorrow night?
Portimao might be interesting. I'm definitely going to have to do a lot more practice this week, trying to do it around practice for the majors, running that with the Lame Sheep boys, so watch out for that. We've got 4 cars campaigning. But yeah, the new content, I'm really excited for the Mustang. I'm a Ford boy, so I'm very excited for the shake-up that brings to the GT3 field, and I'll definitely be running a lot of Mustang. That'll be my car of choice next season.
All right, very nicely done. And obviously there'll be plenty more opportunities for you to go racing this week outside of GT3, mate. What are you looking forward to there? Obviously, we'll see you on Thursday night for the open wheelers, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'll try and get there. I do have to do a lot of practice for Le Mans. I want to get my pace down so I can actually run with the quick guys in the team. They're ridiculously quick, so I might miss Thursday night yet to do Le Mans practice, or I might miss Friday night for Le Mans practice. Not sure yet. Still tossing that one up.
Yeah, some of you guys go on 24 hours over the course of the weekend, and then you'll probably watch the 24-hour next weekend. Mega commitment from all and sundry, no doubt about that. Hey, mate, thanks for stopping on by. Appreciate that. And we look forward to catching up with you later in the week.
Yeah, too easy.
Or next week, whichever comes first.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, and whatever the case, good luck with the major this weekend as well.
Thank you.
And same goes to all of our other members contesting the Le Mans 24 this weekend in the virtual world. Let's remind everybody of where we are and what we're doing. How are we with point standings, Adam Lovis? Have we got Super 2 and Super 3 ready to go? And we've got GT3 Pro as well. Because I was going to say, if we've got Super 2 and Super 3, we can show everybody those updated championship standings as well. So there they are, 60 points now. Greg Favell clear of Jaden Green, who didn't race tonight. And then we go back to Damien Cairns, 293. 289 for Stephen Varga. How important was that second place finish for Cairns tonight, jumping up ahead of Varga. Jake Slade, 5th, 260, 220 for Angus Lawford, then Trent Allen, Kurt Chapman, Mark Horton, and Tim Nicol, the top 10. Super 3, Daniel Snedden maintains his championship lead, 33 points clear of Mark McNamara, and that's just a shocker tonight for Snedden, who was 12th down the order in Super 3 there. Liam Amos up a couple of spots, Aiden Schultz up a couple of spots, and Greg Spencer rounds out the top 5. Schultz and Spencer locked on points and only 3 clear of Wayne Visser. It's a logjam there. Tomlin only 2 points clear of Huge, 7th and 8th. Colin Bennett 9th. And David Lawler 10th. And GT3 Pro, Matty Dench doing Matty Dench things. Jared Knight 2nd for the round. Jared Knight 3rd for the round. Oscar Haynes 2nd for the round. And Haynes has crept up on to 282 points there now. It's Denchy by 59 points back to Jared Knight on 308, 282 for Haynes, 268 for Mitchum, who wasn't on the grid tonight. We knew that already. And then Ash Collins, 222. Simon Nicholson, 219. Look at those three. Not here in the house. We still had 40 on the grid. Extraordinary. David Johnson. Have a look at Jono. Just creeping up there nicely on to 218 points, one shy of Simon Nicholson. Richard King, 212. Tom Foster, 211. Adam Burhop, 160 points, making up the top 10 at this point, despite an absolute shocker for Burhop tonight, it's fair to say. Magnificent. All right, we couldn't do any of this without the great support of the following. Here they come across the bottom of your screen. Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave, Flash Graphics, and of course the great people at Sprayton Cider. Oh boy. Let's have a look at what's coming away on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Poor old Adam Lavis has barely got a word in tonight. There's been that much to talk about. I feel as though I'm going to go and reach for the Strepsils as soon as we're done here, ladies and gentlemen. Oran Park, Formula V tomorrow night for the Van Ryn Cup. Jeez, why isn't that their grand finale? That would be awesome. Van Ryn Cup, week 8, night 2, term 2. There it is for you. Round 8 of their championship races, 22, 23, 24 of the campaign, and that's a 3-race super sprint, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Watkins Glen for, now I'm not sure whether that's boot or sprint configuration, but I believe it's the boot. Watkins Glen GT1 Civil War, Orbic Australia tomorrow night, 9:10 Eastern Standard Time, 40-minute race, the journey there. Wednesday night, not on broadcast this week. The boys are taking the night off. I don't think it's got anything to do with State of Origin. It's just beautifully coincidental. But State of Origin's on that night. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for TCR2 sprint races there, 7:30 for the Production Car Challenge. Second leg of the doubleheader is at the same venue, this time for the 2 sprint race format round of GT4, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. Thursday night, we're back with you off to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada for both legs of the doubleheader. It's sprint racing for the wings and slicks as well. So 5-race program for you Thursday night. Can't wait to bring you that. Formula V first up for Sprayton Cider from 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then on to Sprayton Cider Wings and Slicks, the Super Formula Lights. Thursday night Motorsport, Sprayton Cider Thursday night Motorsport. Open wheel night on the platforms of the GSRC. Hope you can join Daniel Correa, Sarah and I for that. Friday night, SRX NASCAR stock car racing from Silverstone on the national circuit there. 3 sprint races from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mountain Men in the Street stock this week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we go to Mobility Resort Motegi, Japan for leg 1 of the doubleheader next week. And we're very excited about that. Monday night Motorsport, night 1 of week 9 getting underway with a 25-minute sprint race, the second last leg of the championship, Super 2 and Super 3 for you. Then, there we go, GT3M next Monday night. So we won't be checking in with the main boys until week 10. GT3M, 60 minutes around Portimao, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And hope you can join us for that and so much more right here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Of course, next Monday, a long weekend public holiday in progressive and civilised parts of the country, as Scott Jordanson actually jumps into the booth very quickly. You just caught us, Scotty. We're just about to sign off here, mate, but I'll get a quick comment from you in just a tick. AM Split Racing next Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Hope you can join us for that. All right, Scott, you just snuck in the nick of time, mate. Talk us through your night around Ride Atlanta, please.
Sorry, I didn't realise I didn't think you guys would be still broadcasting. Sorry, I'll just shut it down. Yeah, had better nights. Nothing more to say than that.
All right, copy that. Feel free to stick around. We'll have a chat to you off air then if that's the case. But yeah, I didn't think we'd still be broadcasting this late either, mate. But when we get going on a good thing and have some good conversation flowing, it's hard to pull it up. And why bother? I mean, we've got nowhere to be. I hope you enjoyed the opening leg of week 8 of term 2 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Monday night Motorsport across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Don't forget, GSRCmerch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com to get amongst some of the paraphernalia of the GSRC. I'm sure there's still some stuff there available. Go and grab it, snap it up before we run out of stock. While stocks last, as they say in all the classics. GSRCmerch.myshopify.com. Race.tgsrci.com gets you all the other information relevant to the club. including important information on how you become a part of the fun of the fair here and sign up and join in the fun. Oscar Haynes dominant in the feature race here, of course. Matty Dench winning the preliminary. Aaron Russell, Dimitri Agathos, 2 real-world production car stars, cleaning up in the AM split, and Greg Favell doing Greg Favell things in Super 2. We've had a good night out here. Don't forget, Le Mans is the next stop for our GT3 and GTP, our prototype and GT3 Endurance Championship. That is a fortnight away, running concurrently with the Le Mans 24-hour of the real world, the FIA World Endurance Championship, then on to Motorsport. Have a look at that lineup of circuits for the second half of the season. It is looking tantalising and mouth-watering, there's no doubt about that. So yeah, 6 races, 6 different winners. I mean, obviously Ryan Howe's performance in Super 3 to be acknowledged and commended as well. Plenty to celebrate tonight. Plenty of people happy to see the back end of Motorsport and Road Atlanta respectively on the back of some really interesting, hairy moments. But great entertainment for those of you that tuned in at home. Great entertainment for those of us that had the privilege of sitting here in the broadcast booth as well, bringing you all the action. Night 1 of week 8 in term 2 of 2024, done and dusted. The box is ticked. Can you believe we're now just a fortnight away from crowning our champions on Monday Night Motorsport for this 17th season on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Hope you can stay with us for the rest of the season. Hope you enjoyed hanging in there with us tonight. We've enjoyed your company. If you haven't enjoyed what we've dished up tonight, you're very difficult to please, because the racing, well, it was red hot, and with the amount of action attached to it as well, it's hard to know where to look. There were no real lull patches in any of that, which is just the way we like it. We're so excited about the content that's dropping tomorrow night and what that's going to do to this series, night 1 of week 1 of term 3, Monday, July 8. Until then, let's get through the last 2.5 weeks of term 2. The boys not with you tomorrow night or Wednesday night. Back on Thursday night for Daniel Correa, Sarah and I for Formula V, and also Super Formula Light straight inside of Thursday Night Motorsport Open Wheel Thursday. Looking forward to that. In the meantime, don't forget, of course, great win tonight for the Matildas, 2-0 over China. Their next stop, their next assignment is Paris for the Olympic Games. Alex de Minaur at the moment on serve in the second set, 2-2 with Daniel Medvedev, but of course dropped the first set 6-4. That continues an enormous fortnight of motorsport and tennis and other sport right around the world. And of course, the big sport continues in France as soon as that's done, because then we go to Le Mans. We then go to the Tour de France, the bicycle race, then to the Olympics. So, I mean, I missed my call. I should have just relocated up stumps and moved to Paris this year. It would have been absolutely fantastic. On behalf of the crew here at 20 to 11 Eastern Standard Time, thanks for being with us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you, and we look forward to your company on Thursday night when week 8 continues across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. In the meantime, from Adam Lavis and the rest of the crew, I'm Zach Caven. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye for now.